Great to be back with you this Saturday on Racing Post Live. Myself, Dave Orton. We had an enforced break last weekend due to the weather. However, the big thaw, it has begun. Amazing, almost tropical out there at the moment. We got Grade 1 action at Ascot, tick. Graded action at Haydock, tick. We've got a Kingwell hurdle down at Wincanton for you as well. Song for Someone, one of the favourite horses for the public out there. Is he nailed on? Do let us know. Get your social media questions in. You know the drill by now. We love to see it. Get it in, whether you're watching on YouTube, like and subscribe, Facebook Live as well, or Twitter, hashtag RP Live. Ooh, double header we've got for you this weekend when one day just wasn't enough. Last weekend's loss, this weekend's gain. Cannot wait to get into the panel. Mattie Batch joins me back.
Hello, Dave. How are you?
Full of life this morning and beans batch as ever.
Always full
of
life.
The Norman Wisdom of racing, my brother called you when he saw a clip of you.
Oh, that's an old one, yeah. Mr. Grimsdale?
That's it. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's amazing. It's only taken you 5 shows to get that done. Graeme Rodway joins us on the panel as well. Now, shall we just get this out of the way? You tipped something at Lingfield that just won.
Yes.
Honestly, I've never seen him so... There's a little bit of sweat on the brow. I don't know whether that's coming from the syrup that's on there. We've got 6 weeks more potentially of lockdown at least, G. What's going to go on with the party?
There could be a bit of a moulet appearing.
I've got this theory that Boris Johnson's closed all the barbers off just so that everyone can get hair like him.
Looks worse than him.
It can't be worse than Boris, surely.
Well, probably not. Probably not. But we're feeling good about this afternoon with Spoil, aren't we, this weekend? Some real top notchers. We're starting off with the Reynoldstown in a minute. 150 Ascot, the first race for you. Batch.
Yes.
It's on your CV, my friend.
It is indeed. Me and Carruthers, yeah. We won it in 2019, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely hosed up.
54 lengths I just saw. I mean, I had to go down the list.
Did fall at the last.
Yes. Okay, that was the Jim Lewis horse, wasn't it? The best mate colours.
Jim Lewis, best mate colours, yeah. And it was very frosty that week, and Sarah was very well known for sort of getting him out twice. Sarah, twice a day, every day, and this week before he couldn't get out, and he got out twice that week down to Paul Cole's gallop to work him, and it was the best he ever felt.
Really?
Yeah, he felt like he travelled, he jumped, and he was, yeah.
So we'll be getting from you exactly what sort of horse we need for it, what sort of tactics the jockey might deploy. The last of the RSA trials. The last of the RSA. It doesn't even exist anymore, does it? It's a Brown advisory now. And, of course, back from Dublin, here he is, week in, week out. Barry Orr, delighted to have him back on the panel.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. How are we all?
How are we, Barry?
Yeah, buzzing. I think we're going to have a lot of fun these next 2 days. Huge card for you tomorrow as well. Of course, Barry at Newbury. Absolutely immense that's on for us, isn't it, tomorrow?
Yeah, it's brilliant. Well done to all connected to that for being able to reschedule what should have taken place last Saturday. But it hasn't let us down either in terms of entries. They've held up well. The curveball champ is going for the Betfair Game Spirit and not the Denman. I think that raised a few eyebrows, not least mine. So, looking forward to tomorrow. But today, some great Grade 1 action before tomorrow's main course.
Sticking with you, Barry. Surname, it's the final race, 3:35 at Ascot, the Grade 1 Ascot Chase. He's won it before. He fell last year. Cheap pieces go on. He's on the drift, right?
Yeah, he is. He's been matched as low as 1.78, around 11.8 on the exchange. He was out to 2.22 at one stage. He's 2.16 now. They're backing everything against him, Dave. It has to be said. Fascinating how this race is going to develop from a tactical point of view because there's like 4 confirmed front runners in it anyway. So it's going to be... He's just not a horse that's captured the public's imagination at this stage for a horse that was the highest rated chaser in training, even ahead of Altior at one stage, off the back of that 17-length win in this race in 2019. So, yeah, the public have just let him slide out to 2.16, probably becoming a backable price, actually. But I'm sure we'll get to that at around 3:30.
We will indeed. Barry's been on absolute fire the last month or so as well. IJF, isn't it, Barry? Injured Jockeys Fund for the charity.
Yeah,
there's been a lot of love coming your way, quite rightly, about that.
Yeah, I think in the last couple of weeks we've won 1,200 quid for the IJF. So we're going to keep that up for the till the end of February. And hopefully we can add to that today and tomorrow, Dave.
Yeah, we'll be showcasing exactly how the exchange works for you out there. If you're a beginner, do not worry. Even if you're a seasoned pro, Barry will tell you something new. Do not worry about that. So we'll preview each race. That's what we're going to do. Go to Barry's Trades. You'll have time to react. Don't forget, safe gambling. That's what we advocate here. We're just having great fun. Real-time analysis, real-time reaction. That's what you're going to get here. Where better place to spend the afternoon in lockdown looking at the racing this afternoon. So, Surname, guys. Matty, you're a bit ponderous about his chance today, aren't you?
I am a bit. It just puts me off a little bit. The King George run. Now, he used to be a free-going horse, really on the bridle. The other day in the King George, he never really wanted to line up. He was behind the bridle a lot. And if you see him at the start, he turned round and sort of saw the exit where you go out, and he sort of darted forward to that. It just seems a little bit of attitude to me. And a cheek piece is now being put on. It doesn't really appeal to me.
Yeah, it was a polite version of what you said to me before we came on there about him anyway. We'll warm batch up for you, don't worry. G, to Surname or not to Surname?
Don't know, it's hard, isn't it? What do you reckon?
Well, I think...
Should we toss a coin?
Well,
what do you think? I mean,
we know how his tipping works out then, don't we? He moaned to us before he came in. I've been doing all these previews and stuff. At the end of the day, it's just a coin toss for him. It's where the pen lands, is it, G?
well, I mean, if he turns up anywhere near his best, wins, doesn't he? Easy.
On figures, it's all over, isn't it? But beaten in the race last year, having had a hard race at the King George, as Matty said, he wasn't sure about him there. Cheap pieces go on. Tactics of the race is what everyone's looking at. Multiple front runners in the race. What's he going to do with it?
This is what I don't get, right? And this is the problem with playing the race before the race. Like, I'd advise anyone to play it in running if you're going to play it on Betfair, because I think if Surname dominates this race and he don't get taken off, I think he'll win.
After the first fence.
Yeah, I think he'll just blow him away.
So that's interesting.
If he can get off into a rhythm, they won't see which way he goes. But I don't get it. Like, this is what there was an interview yesterday with Matt Griffiths, the jockey of Dash or Dresher yesterday. Now he might be being a bit coy about what he's going to do, but I mean his attitude was kind of, well, if I can't match Surname, I just let him have the lead and I'll take a sit in behind, and fair enough. Yeah. Well, I don't see the point in that, because you won't beat Surname riding him like that. The only way you're going to beat Surname is to get up there and really stick it up to him, because he don't like it up him.
He doesn't like it up him. No. He does not like it up him.
Does anyone?
Well, no, probably not. Well, probably not.
The thing is, like, Matt Griffiths will want to make it, because that's how he won the last day, with his heart on his sleeve. Now, on rating, Surname is far better than these. Now, Surname's first gear is much better than these horses behind him. So Matt Griffiths has got to make a conscious decision. Over the first two, serve it up to Surname, because the way he's been running at the minute, if you serve it up to him, he might just say, I don't want any of this. So he's got to serve it over the first two and then make a decision.
But Matt's view on it was, well, I don't want to go and ruin my chance by
suggest he is being coy,
Surname.
G. I think he's got one way of running this horse. If you watch Dash or Drescher graduating from a handicap company, he blew him away, didn't he? Something went with him. I can't remember. Was it Benny's King who was in the race?
Benny's
as well?
King. They came clear that day as well.
They did.
But I mean, my view on it would be that if he would be ruining his chance anyway by not going and putting it up to him.
Yeah.
Because Surname's just going to blow him away if he don't.
Yeah, jockeys, they can be coy. Mattie Batch, we know all about that. Let's get some social media comments on the screen then. Who's opening the show? Hugh Masson. Good to have you back on, Hugh. The more you push and shove on Surname, the further he drops away. Could that be the cheek pieces? Paul Nichols is fitting. And Mikey B86 says Surname only likes it when he gets his own way. Will he get his own way? That's the question. If you remember the King George last year, guys, this is such a brilliant puzzle that we've got to solve at 3:35. Everyone was expecting him to shoot out over the first fence. He got led over it. He gradually went backwards. This year, or last year I should say, Frodon, stablemate, with Bryony up front, took him out of his comfort zone. Harry decided to take a pull. He didn't like it at all, did he? And after making that move on the far side, when the race starts to get serious, he just fell in a hole. But I would wager this time last year, when he was beaten when falling, he had a much harder race in the King George as a result.
Yeah, but did he make all the running when he won in Charlie Hall or not? Not really.
No, he didn't.
I mean, he just kept him wide and out.
Right was the one that took him on, wasn't it?
But he travelled a lot better. The King George,
it's beautiful
he didn't even really want to jump off.
No.
For me, looking at it.
This is what we get from the jockey.
Behind the bridle from
character
the word
of a horse. Great insight already. That is the 3:35, the last race for you here on this Saturday on RP Live. Don't worry, we are back tomorrow for a stunning Betfair card, even popping up to market raising. And there's a point hurdle. Tiger Roll, he comes back out tomorrow. Cannot wait. But shall we get the action rolling? Let's roll these dice then. Let's get the market up for the 150. It is the aforementioned Reynoldstown. It's a Grade 2 novice chase, Barry. This has gone to RSA winners in the past. I'm calling it the RSA, of course. It's the 3-mile novice chase, now called the Brown Advisory, on the Wednesday that Monkfish is a real hot favourite for. Can anything topple him?
Nothing can top of Monkfish, I don't think. But in this race, one of the best backed horses of the day, Dave, is in it. The Machine for Richard Patrick was as big as 5-1, is into 3.35 now. 4.5 Severiano, who was the anti-post favourite. 5.5 Remastered. I like him in the race. Fullback is 6.8. 10 Kaluki and Hurricane Harvey, a massive 16. He was a 5-1 chance this time yesterday, so he's unwanted by the market. I'm going to just start off nice and simple for the IJF. I'm going to lay the Machine. I just thought, it's a very competitive race for my money. I thought Severiana had a chance, Fullback had a chance, and Remastered I liked in the race. I just thought there's 7. The Machine, he's had only 7 runs. He won a course and distance handicap off 132 that I thought was a pretty ordinary race. Having said that, his price... what he is now, he's currently trading just under 11-4. He's actually into 9-4 now. I think he's definitely labelled at that price. Like, I couldn't have him at that price, win or lose. So 3.3, we're going to take 40 quid at the backer's stake. So to lose around 90 quid, and I'm happy enough with that.
Okay, that's Barry's trade then, taking on the first favourite of the day. Again, showcasing the functionality of the exchange. Loads of way to play these market. Barry will be giving you a few curveballs, no doubt, throughout the day. Don't have to bet in every race. Are we having a play in this race, guys? I love this De Machine. The Machine, we want to call him, but it's De Machine.
De Machine.
I've got to be honest, when he won at the course, 2 runs back, I thought this is my Festival Plate horse. And now they're trying to stretch him out, aren't they? When he got beaten at Newbury last time, I wasn't sure he totally got home. It was a very well-run race that day. The fact that they've had the wind operation later that week in the week suggests that he left something on the table there. It was about 11-2 yesterday. His price crash. Paul Keeley's giving him a 2 points winning in Saturday Sizzlers in your members section in your paper today. I'm very keen on him. Maybe not at the price, but I am very keen on his chance.
He did stop a little bit at Newbury, hence why they, as you say, they had the wind up. I'd like to, same old thing, do they need that first run back after a wind up just to get used to it again? That would worry me a little bit. I do like Remastered.
Negativity from the batch.
I do like Remastered. Watching all of these jump, from a jockey's point of view, I like the way he jumps. Severano impressed me when he won at Sandown and Exeter. Little novice mistake at Newbury, sort of dented his confidence a little bit. Would have done plenty of schooling, but I do like the pipe horse. And they had a couple of winners at Exeter over the weekend, last weekend. And
yeah, he has won this race in the past with a horse called Ain't See for Daylight. You have to really think about when going back, but I just didn't think his form had worked out. So he needs to step up. And do you know what, G? When you see a pipe horse, of course, to qualify in these Grade A handicaps now over fences, even if you're a novice and you've got a 1 next to your name or 2, you've got to have the 3 runs, haven't you? And whenever I see a pipe horse with a festival looming that's only had 2 runs, it makes me think one thing. He's got a marker 138, which would be delicious for a festival plate, wouldn't it?
It would, yeah. And that might be what they're thinking, but it might not be too.
We're trying to...
This is their day, really. I mean, 3 of these are entered in the Cheltenham race. Now, to me, they're going to struggle to be in the first 4.
Really? You think it's that way down?
Yeah, honestly, this is their day today.
We're looking at top handicappers next year. That's the way you think it.
Yeah.
I was amazed that Severano was favourite yesterday. He's now drifted out. He was behind De Machine last time at Newbury, whacked the first, and maybe they, coming back to Ascot. This has been a race where 8-year-olds have traditionally struggled. It remastered. Severano is one. Fullback is interesting.
Yeah,
I like him.
He's won round Plumpton, small runner events, and sort of
Exeter
had his own way and been able to sort of get from A to B.
You are Mr. Plumpton, right? This is a course that we just associate you with. We've had loads and loads of winners. That and Exeter strike me as kind fence courses.
I'd say Exeter out of the 2 are the easiest.
It's the easiest.
Is
it the easiest jumping course? Keep hearing Jock saying this.
You take a lot of novices there because all the fences are on the rise.
They're inviting.
They're inviting fences. Plumpton, the one at the top of the hill can be tricky. The one down the middle because you're running down towards it. And a lot of people could, if you was on a horse down there and you was on one that you knew that didn't jump well, you knew yours jumped well, you'd quicken down into that middle fence, and because it could catch a lot of horses out.
Isn't that interesting that Exeter's one of the easiest jumping courses in the country? Because you see great novices going there, don't you? Because it's such a stiff track and it's obviously well positioned for the West Country yards.
Yeah, it's a funny place, Exeter. I've only been there a couple of times, and both times were absolute disasters.
Why?
I won't go into that.
Why?
Well, obviously it's like 7-hour drive from where I am. The first time I went down there the year that Azertiot was going for the Champion Chase, and I'd had a big anti-post play on him for the Champion Chase. I was really looking forward to seeing him make his seasonal reappearance. I went as a fan, really, and we got in the car. We went 7 hours all the way from Exeter to Exeter, drove all the way there, and then just before that race, the Azertiot race, the Haldon Gold Cup, the fog came down, and you could only see like the last couple of fences there, and they jumped off, and Azertiot unseated Mick Fitzgerald at the first fence. It was an absolute disaster. And we only went there to watch Azertiot.
Sure, Fitzy will thank you for bringing that one up.
The second time was...
Didn't they say many years ago when the fog was down, they used to just go round the fences down
well, apparently that was Frankham. That was Frankham, wasn't it? Used to say...
Don't need to jump this, lads.
Yeah, no one can see us.
But after that Azertiot race, the fog did come down. Didn't see another race, so we went home. We were only there about an hour, and we drove 7 hours to get there 7 hours back. It was mad. But the second time was obviously the ill-fated best mate, And then I didn't go back after that.
I don't imagine you've been invited, have you?
This is a jinx place, I can't go there. But anyway, I thought fullback jumped a little bit left at Exeter.
Yes, he did.
Did you think that might be
a bit
of a worry?
Yes, I wrote that in the analysis.
Yeah,
you've been reading.
Going to the right, and this is a better race, so I don't think he'd get away with that in a better race.
He's been really weak in the market, Barry, fullback, hasn't he?
Relatively weak. He's out to 6 now, so he's a 5-1 chance. Hurricane Harvey's the weakest. He's out to 17. Remastered 5.7. Some money for him. The favourite on the slide was 3.3. We laid him at 3.3. He's out to 3.75 now. Severiana, some support for that, into 4.6, which is 7-2. But yeah, plenty of fancied runners in the race stage. There's only one horse in double figures, and that's Hurricane Harvey.
Interesting. Okay, where's the G-Rod money going in this? Is this a race you've played in?
No, it's not a betting race for me, because I just thought there were more negatives than positives about the majority of them. Like Hurricane Harvey's the graded horse in the race, but he's got to carry £5 penalty, hasn't he? Demachine, we're not sure he's going to stay. Fullback might go to his left. I didn't fancy Kaluki or Remastered. I don't think Severani will stay.
So you're going to learn from this?
Yeah.
All right, okay. So there we are. We don't, like we say, we don't have to play in every race. It looks like Severano and Demachine, Barry, are vying for favouritism all of a sudden, to my eyes.
No, Demachine is clear favourite at 3.6 on my screen. Anyway, 5.1 Severiano now, just sliding out a little, and 6 remastered. Full back money for him as well at 5.7. But the favourite's definitely the Machine at 3.5.
Would help if I press refresh on my exchange. The moment I said that, I was always on about, okay, clear favourite then to Machine in the first. Richard Patrick, a great young lad.
You've really got to stay, haven't you, to win this race? I mean, would you say?
They can tend to turn it on, Batch, can't they?
Yeah, you've got to stay, you've got to jump, and I mean, listen, I served it up to, when I won it, I knew my horse stayed, soft ground, and I remember kicking down the hill because I used his jumping, saved up the hill, and then kicked again, turning in, and they just couldn't live with me. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so you do tend to see them about 4 out, really revving up in this, and you want to leave it at home. I think Kaluki is interesting. He's lining up, so he's going to go from the front. Hurricane Harvey up there, remastered as well. Good luck, Rev, you're playing in the opener of 7 races here today on Racing Post Live. Let's enjoy it, let's have a bit of fun, and we might learn some big Cheltenham pointers along the way. But each race in their own right is a cracker. And even if we've got handicappers as they jump off for next season in this race, let's learn. So Remastered then Batch, kicking into gear. He's cocking his head a little bit interestingly. We're all over the first safely, Batch. The tactics, what are you thinking straight away?
He's just cocking his head a little bit to the left there. That would put me off a little bit, but they're all happy to get a lead off Skoo. He's rode him into the first 2, but little mistake there.
Who was that?
Hurricane Harvey, yeah.
Hurricane Harvey just had a reach for that. Kaluki sort of jumped the first 2 okay, because he hadn't been jumping that well before. But
not really going much of a pace, are they?
Steady pace. Fullback's taking a bit of a pull.
Richard Johnson on Kaluki is a horse that it's been taking the mickey out of him a little bit. Fullback had a look at that. The going left angle is interesting for fullback, I think.
Yeah, I see he's got him on the outside at the back there, hasn't he? He's quite free, isn't he, as well, fullback at the moment, at the back there, but he maybe settled a bit better now, slightly out to his left again.
I'll tell you what, I know we've only had 3 fences, but De Machine, without wanting to curse him, when he gets one right, he is some sight. The way that he took a pull, Richard Patrick, when he was here last time, I'll tell you what, he'd be really happy with him. Severano, however, his old rival, G, just off remastered as they go out onto the far side. He has jumped a lot better already. So I reckon it's going to be between these two personally.
Yeah, that was the excuse at Newbury, wasn't it? That he sort of slipped going into that first fence and he just lost his confidence afterwards and never really jumped with any fluency afterwards. He did come back into the race quite well, so he must have a lot of ability. That was a course over 2.6 though?
Yes.
2.6. So got a couple of extra furlongs here. I mean, if I was playing this racing running already, I mean, I don't know what Barry thinks, but I would have guessed that Remastered is a lot shorter than his starting price already, Barry, because he's getting a nice easy lead there, isn't he?
Yeah, he's getting a soft lead and he's jumping great as well, Graeme. He's into 2-1. He's actually 2.98, so just under it. The two big drifters, fullback out to 13.5 and Hurricane Harvey out to 23 off the back of one pulling and one jumping a bit sloppily. Kaluki 6.2. The Machine out to 6 now, which I think is a bit of an overreaction, but
Tell you what, the curse on this show is ridiculous, isn't it? I have to stop saying about it also, I really like, because he did absolutely, he almost lost an iron there, Richard Patrick, but he's winning that one again. Now, if you are Scudamore, Tom Scoot on Remastered, you've not been pestered as you thought you might by Dickie Johnson on Kaluki. What are you thinking now? I've got this all my own way. When am I going to rev it up?
Do you know what? If I was Scoo, in the back of my head, listen, he's a man for looking at form. Down the back, I think he'd put it to him, because they're tricky fences down there, knowing the way he's jumping, say, right, let's serve it up to these, make them come and find me, and they've got to jump, because a few of these have made a few little mistakes. And down the hill there, he can put the test to him now.
I like the way that Richard Patrick, after that error, has said, right, I'm not going to mess this horse about anymore. He's moved up, and as a result, Severano's moved back.
Yeah, Severano's all of a sudden struggling, isn't he? It's just to keep up with them.
Yeah.
Hurricane Harvey looks in big trouble at the back there. I mean, fullback is coming back into it, but gee, I mean, this Remastered's just lobbing along so lovely, isn't he? He's in a nice rhythm, jumping well. Oh, from here, he's going to be extremely hard to beat, surely.
This time last week, it was freezing everywhere. There's hardly any turf racing on. Absolutely nowhere. We had a bit in Ireland, didn't we? Amazing what a difference a week can make. And now going at Ascot didn't look bad at all, really.
No, it looks all right, and it's beautiful, wasn't it? Coming in this afternoon, spring-like weather, you know, it's amazing, isn't it? Let's hope it continues all the way up to Cheltenham. Not that any of us can go, of course. That's one of the big downsides, isn't it? But hopefully we're getting back to normal soon.
We will be in here for Cheltenham. We've got men dotted around the courses this afternoon for you. We will be going to them if we can do for quotes and news. We've got something breaking for you coming up after this race, actually. So Kaluki now starts to put it up to Remastered on the far side. And Batch, this is where, if you've not been travelling at this point, you're going to drop off, aren't you?
Yeah, you've got to. They're clicking it down here again. Dickie and School just ejected it. Severano's just feeling reminders there.
Looks like he's pulling up.
Yeah. He's
there's
cried
something
enough.
amiss there. He's not right.
So we've got the big four. Hurricane Harvey just around about 2 lengths off them. Led still by Remaster. But Kaluki now making an attempt at this. If you remember at Newbury when he got beaten by Next Destination, he tried to take the last 5 fences with him. Let's see how he comes up under pressure. Fullback. They've been trying to get a lead on this horse. He's had to do the donkey work. They've got one here. De Machine walks wide.
Just walk through that fullback.
Fullbacks, yeah. So this is so Batch is basically punting out. The fullback's going to struggle to get home. Hurricane Harvey, I think we can now say is struggling. De Machine, now he's starting to warm up a little bit. What's Remastered got left? This is where we find out whether he's a classy handicapper or indeed a Grade 1 horse in the making. We're coming to around about 4 out, G.
Yeah, this is always a great part of the race. They're really quickening it up now. I think there's 3 or 4 fences down this side of the track, aren't there? And whoever jumps it will probably put themselves in pole position to go and win it in the straight.
Let's see them. 1, 2, 3, eyeballing up front. All over it very nicely
good jumps.
Indeed. Fullback then. Maybe he is going to. The big 3 are now going forward. Kaluki, you're probably going just about the best with De Machine. Richard Patrick wanting to just about over nicely conserve the stamina. Tom Scudamore now kicking match.
Yeah, he's happy with this. He's kicking on. He's making them serve it up to him. This is the ditch, I think.
Machine gun favoured in running.
Yeah, this is a machine, guys, I tell you. So is the wind up going. So now Kaluki on the outside. He starts to fall back a little bit.
Kaluki's struggling.
De Machine, when does he press the button? This is the 3rd last. Over it very nicely indeed. Kaluki just struggling a little bit. Looks like it's between Remastered, Mattie Batchelor's fancy and Barry. De Machine's going for it as well. He's got to stretch this also, I think.
Kaluki's struggling.
We don't know absolutely if De Machine stays. Now, all of a sudden, Remastered's in trouble. How are they going to come up here then? G, call it.
I think the winner's in front here. I don't think the De Machine's going to get him, but we'll see.
Absolutely fantastic. Has that wind operation worked? Because he's not moved yet. Richard Patrick, how he comes. Go on, get up and over him, old son. Yes. Let him go. Remastered's not quite gone for it yet on the inside. It's going to be a great battle. This does he quite get home? G might have called it. We're going to the last batch.
It's going to be all on the jump
It's
here
all
at
on
the last.
Jump there.
Here we go.
Neck and neck.
Come on, get him up, Richard Patrick. Go on. And he's just in tight. Remastered on the inside. He's going to outstay him. Unbelievable scenes.
He's outstayed him, I think.
The machine will have to drop back in trip after this, I think, guys. Will he go for a festival plate or a marsh? We'll get the quotes afterwards because Remastered has outstayed him.
Yeah,
well done if you went with Mattie Batch. Barry was keen on him as well. The first lay is all of a sudden a play. Barry Orr.
Yeah, it's in the bag, the first lay. Thankfully, I had a few quid myself in Remaster. Can you believe the machine hit a low of 1.10? 10 to 1 on for 1,741 quid. I don't know what they were looking at because he was, for my money, he never even got up sides of to take him on. But yeah, 9 to 1 on for over 2 grand, 8 to 1 on for over 1,200 quid. Crazy stuff. Your winner, Remaster, the Betfair SP is 6.40, so just nearly over 11 to 2. He hit a high in running, can you believe, Remastered, of 17 quid at 11 to 1.
Unbelievable scenes in the first race then at Ascot, the 150. That is the Rendel Chase Remastered. After this batch, they're going to probably have to aim fairly high with this horse, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, he was tenacious. Listen, Patrick on there, he turned into the straight. He looked confident, or he was just trying to save his stamina.
I think that's what it was.
Might have had doubts about him staying, but Scoos, he's just outstayed him at the end. That's why he might have gone so short in running the machine, because he was sitting there looking pretty, but he probably didn't have. Well, towards the end, it looked like he didn't have a lot underneath him in the end. And Scoos is just, he's outstayed him, jumped him, winged the last. Listen, the machine got into the bottom of it. If he was good enough, he was close enough.
Is that when they're getting tired, when they get in low?
He's just come down to it. He sort of jumped the second last. With horses, you can only go to the well so many times. And he's come down to the last and he thought, I'm going to have to sit here, and he's gone in and popped. Where Scoo's gone, I've still got full of running. He's asked him and he's winged it.
He's a fascinating horse, the machine. Let's not take anything away from the winner, but I still don't quite know the plan with his scores, because over 2 mile 4G, is he just too slow for 2 mile 4? Why are they not looking for these? Maybe he will drop back and get an entry in the festival plate. Maybe he will. But Kerry Lee, she obviously thinks he's a stayer in the making, doesn't she? Fair play, by the way. You called it when he was absolutely cruising. Good shout there.
I always like to be with the front runners, because I think the horses, they use up a lot of petrol to get to them, and sometimes it looks like they're going to get them, and then the front runners got a little bit more. Batch called it earlier in a flat race. You feel them coming, and then they find that little bit more. But
especially around here as well, Ascot, you can do that.
It's quite a stiff track, isn't it?
Yeah, it's stiff track, and when you jump as well as that, you're making up. They have to make up ground for you.
Jump was beautiful.
He's in the 4 mile or the 3 mile 6 now, of course. We used to call it the 4 mile, didn't we? The National Hunt Challenge Cup. The way that he's been taken on by Kaluki and kept going, and he might have beaten a doubtful stayer. Perhaps they'll look at that. But maybe he might just turn up.
I think he stayed, the machine.
You do?
Yeah, I think he stayed. I just don't think he's the strongest to stay.
If you look at him over 2 mile 4,
the strongest stayer in front.
Look, there we are. We're off and running. We've got Matt Butler at Ascot for us. We're going to go, our reporter there. We're going to try and get to him before the Ascot Chase. Something he has just come in with, actually, guys, which is very interesting, actually. He's passing on that Paul Nicholls is down at Wincanton today, not at Ascot.
He loves it there, though, don't he?
That's interesting. Well, I suppose it's local, isn't it? But it wouldn't. Let's go to Barry on this. I mean, it's no problems for Nicholls to just whiz up to Ascot, Barry, is it?
Yeah, I'd only be a couple hours up the road, but he's his local track, Wincanton. He's after having 2 odds on chances turned over, funny enough, in Wincanton already today, so he probably wishes he went to Ascot.
He's probably in the car now going to Ascot.
In the helicopter going on up now, yeah, right. But it's interesting that he is there, of course, and with the Grade 1, I suppose that Harry Durham will be saddling the horses then at Ascot.
I'd say if there was people on course, I'm sure Paul would be in Ascot, yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, all right, yeah. Going around these boxes where you get all the nice hospitality and all that sort of thing. Something you know all about, isn't it?
I've dined at the very top table, Dave.
Anything for a bung. Anything for a bung. All right, we've got to move on. We've got the Rendel Show. We've gone from the Rendels down to the Rendel Show. A stayers hurdle trial, a Grade 2 in its own right. We've got a couple of horses here that are bidding to bounce back. I think we can say that from last time out runs. Emma Tom won the race last year. Hasn't all been plain sailing since. Ran all right, the big one at Cheltenham, actually. Cheltenham probably isn't his track. Barry, wide open renewal.
Yeah, it really is. Emma Tom, 5.2, 5.7 on the blind side. Itchy Feet, 5.7 as well. He's what I was fancying in it for Betfair Ambassador Ollie Murphy. He's a Grade 1 winner over fences. He mixed it with the best of them when he was over hurls a couple of seasons back. He hasn't been a great jumper of fences. He was second to the Dashel Drescher last time out. That might turn out to be decent enough form. He was third to Classical Dream in the 2019 Supreme. I think Ollie's really looking forward to stepping him up in trip. He'd need to go very well here to be even considered for the Stayers Hurl in March. And I think that's the way they're thinking with him. So we're just going to back him winning place at 20 quid, 25 quid win and 25 quid place on Itchy Feet. Obviously, it's 3 places here with the dead 8 running. So hopefully we can add to our 40 quid that we won in the first race.
Thank you, Barry. Okay, the trade is on. You've got time to react to Barry then. 1-0 to Barry so far. De Machine only second in the first. That was his lay. And, of course, Itchy Feet is now the play. Itchy Feet. He's definitely one of the most interesting horses in this race. Probably the most interesting horse would be Lisnagar Oscar, Stayers Hurdle winner, 50-1. Like Itchy Feet, when he unseated in the Marsh Chase, when only 7-2. Since the festival, G, it's not been plain sailing at all, has it?
No, he was so good, wasn't he, when he won at Sandown? And then since then, he's not looked the same horse. But his jumping problems have been an issue over fences. The ability is obviously still there because he powers home a lot of the time. And last time he bled, didn't he? But he still flew home. So I don't know what to make of
He's one of those, I imagine, in running can go right out and then right back in.
But I mean, this is a weird old race because all the best form is over fences. You know, Itchy Feet's got the best form in the race, but it's all over fences. Ballyoptic's got the next best piece of form, but that's over fences. And the hurdles form is not actually that good. But I've also got another weird theory. Obviously, I'm full of them. But
you are.
This one has been disputed on several occasions. But this theory is that horses stay further over fences than they do over hurdles, and that 3-mile hurdle races become more of a stamina test than 3-mile chase races.
I don't think that's just your theory, though, is it? I mean, if you stay 2 mile 4 over hurdles and that's your optimum trip, you've got a right to think about 3 miles over fences. Is this something we're mad?
Yeah, I think you're right. It's a fair point because you seem to over 3-mile chases. You'll seem to go that little bit more steadier. Hurdles, you're slicker. Yeah, and yeah, it's a very good point. The only thing, Emerton to me, Gavin Sheehan is retained rider for the Brookses, and he's riding the Great Trek horse and not Itchy Feet. I mean, yes, he's. I mean, that's
an interesting one. There you go. Got a nice bit of insight there. Let's have a look at their respective records then. Yeah, so this is a first ride, isn't it, for Adrian Heskin on Itchy Feet? Whereas Emma Tom, Gavin Sheehan obviously knows him very well. Now, one thing I want to pick you up on there. First of all, you got a compliment on one of your theories from Mattie Batchelor. That's got to be a first.
It's not the first time, though.
It's got to be a first.
Remember John Howes complimented me on my grey horse theory?
Which turned out to be absolute rubbish, numerically. But listen to Gar Oscar, we've got Stayers Hurdle winner here, and you're saying he's not the best form in the race?
Well, yeah, I mean, if he reproduces that, it's still not the best form in the race. No, I mean, it's about the third best piece of form, I think.
Seeing off Ronald's Pump, Bacardi's and Emerton.
Yeah, it's a poor old race, wasn't it, in the end? That was it the world... Yeah, the
Stayers Hurdle. Yeah. I'm tempted to call it the World Hurdle still, which is awful because we were all up in arms when it was called the World Hurdle.
Absolutely rubbish race, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think this is just a run for Linazar Oscar after its win surgery.
You think it won the novice race on this card a couple of years ago, didn't it? Before running in the Albert Bartlett. Let's get a couple of socials up on the screen, guys, before we go into this. Oh, sorry, selections. Rob Lee was in my ear saying socials. It's actually selections. Right. He said selections. All right, okay. He's from Millwall. He's a Millwall supporter. It's very difficult to understand.
No.
Oh, no, I know. Never mind. I like Third Wind here, who's got to reverse his course form with Main Fact. But Main Fact needs it bottomless. And he beat him at Ascot behind Paisley Park in that great race with Time Hill. That's my selection as they jump off.
Not good enough for me, them two, Main Fact and Third Wind.
Not good enough. Who wins it then? Emma Tom. G?
Well, I'm sitting this one out again because I think it's just a bunch of disappointing horses generally, so there's nothing that really floated my boat. I'm just interested, do you think that Itchy Feet's going to stay?
Way to build the excitement and prestige of this race. I think it's an ordinary bunch.
The first 2 races.
Well, they're not hanging about, I can tell you that much. So back in comes the excitement because the rag of the lot, Donna's Diamond, eyeballing, Stayers Hurdle winner. Did you ever think you'd be saying that? Listen to Gar Oscar. Rebecca Curtis will be really hoping the wind works on him. They're not going to let this into a dawdle. Now, the one thing about the difference, of course, between Cheltenham and Haydock, very, very sharp track. As 2 go way clear. So Ballyoptic about, 4 lengths off in third. On the blind side, who really has come back in great form, the 9-year-old. He sits in fourth. That's Itchy Feet, isn't it, just off him. Travelling nicely today. This will be really interesting to see whether he stays, because he can hit the flat spot. He's being trapped by my selection, third win. Emma Tom, he's had a wind operation as well. Back from a break. He sets out the back. But last of all, as we go over that, and Barry, yeah, we're all over okay, his main fact. Under Fergus Gillard, another big day in the sun, hopefully, for Fergus coming up. He's a great little rider, Fergus Gillard.
Yeah.
Isn't he?
Yeah,
very well regarded, obviously.
For a tall lad as well.
Is he?
Yeah. He does the weight well. Whether he can keep that under control, and he makes.
It's got to be a great story there, because when you listen to Fergus Gillard talking, you're like, he should be in the cabinet, I think. Not riding over.
He's a bit like myself.
Can you imagine? Let's go to Barry then. They're really strung out already, Barry. Not hanging around whatsoever. Has the market reacted in any way? Probably Itchy Feet, I'm thinking.
Yeah, Itchy Feet is into 4.5 now, so he's just favoured ahead of On the Blind Side. The market's kind of dismissing the two that went off in front. Donna's Diamond still 85, had a Betfair SP of 93, and Lisnagar Oscar had a Betfair SP of 8 and is out to 15. So market really dismissing those two and looking more at Itchy Feet and On the Blind Side at the moment.
Just got a little reminder there as well.
Barry. Okay, was that a reminder for Itchy Feet?
Yeah, just a little.
And this is Adrian Heskin that's never sat on him before as well. So this is an interesting move there. Okay, so they're just as they come into the home straight for the first
wasn't Ballyoptic he was looking at.
Oh, it might well have been. Let's face it might well have been. So Itchy Feet goes to the outside as now Donna's Diamond just about assumes control from this Nagar Oscar. Ballyoptic's closed up. Itchy Feet, they're riding him, G, as if stamina won't be a problem whatsoever. Obviously on a sharp track, but they're going for it today.
Yeah, and I think that's how you should ride horses at doubtful stands. I don't really think you can coax them into it.
Like the machine in the first we just saw.
Eventually, you either stay or you don't you?
Well, and you need to find out, really, don't you? So today's the day, right? We need to find out, do we go back into it or do we stick at 3 miles?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I just going back to Fergus, he's a great little rider. This is something I want to get into later with the claimers, because I think that if you can get a good claimer on a horse, it's such an underrated factor in racing, isn't it? Obviously, I don't think he claims here, does he, Fergus?
No, he doesn't. This was one of the big things when he ran in the Grade 1.
He does claim 5, don't he, in handicap? So
he was fantastic at Sandown in the boys' race in the week, wasn't it? We call it boys, of course. The apprentice conditional riders taking weight
not
off
lots
their
happening in this. Itchy Feet's up to 3rd now, so
anyway,
he's probably shorter, is he, in running, Barry?
He was going on about one of his madcap theories.
9 to 2.
Yeah, Main Fact's your favourite in running now at 3 to 1.
He's travelling very sweetly, Main Fact, and as we know, he handles this course very, very well. He won the big handicap when he beat Third Wind in November. Of course, the Grade 3 there. Emma Tom Batch, he doesn't look happy at all,
doesn't look happy at all.
Yeah, it's not been a season to remember thus far for Warren Greatrex. And he's coming back off the Windop. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's worked with that chap, unfortunately. Got some news to pass you on about the Reynoldstown as well coming up. Sad news, I'm afraid, about Severano. Looks like he had a heart attack in that. Really, really sad news for that. Oliver Sherwood and all concerned. Then Tim Sider, of course, a big owner, isn't it? Okay, then they're duelling on the far side. We're going to word about from that from the guys afterwards. It looks like this Nagar off, because he's right back on song here, guys. He hasn't travelled through his first 2 races this season like this. Looking really, really well. Gavin Sheeran is persevering with Emma Tom, but that's not looking good. I'll tell you what, Third Wind, catching my eye. He's still going nicely, isn't he, for Tom Cannon? Tom Cannon's having a good season. Not a chance coming up in the Grand National Trial.
Yeah, absolutely. He's flying along, isn't he? Yeah, they're all still going quite well. Itchy Feet is really travelling here, I thought.
He's attacking his hurls as well. Something he wasn't doing over fences. He's really relishing. It looks like a step back over hurls.
If he stays in better nick, isn't it?
He's going to go close here, I think.
Yeah, okay, so Donna's Diamond now feeling the pinch, the outsider of the lot, as Lisnagar Oscar now gets his own way up front. Ballyoptic not gone for it. On the blind side, he's still there as well.
Main
we know
Fact's
that he'll
hitting
stay.
That flat spot now.
Main Fact has now hit the flat spot. This is a horse that needs it absolutely soft as it can possibly be. Dave Carr up there on track for us today says it's tacky ground, not as soft as you might expect on the hurdles track. Different gravy, of course, on the chase course. So here we go, the right angle bend, as we call it, back. Sharp as you like. Where don't you want to be now?
Where Main Fact is.
I served that up on a plate, didn't I? Ballyoptic now looks like he's struggling. This is where we'll see. Come on, Third Wind's cruising in here, I'll tell you. Third Wind's going to have a massive say here. So Lisnagar Oscar, the Stayers hurdle winner, back on song so far.
Here
on the blind side, starting to feel it. Itchy Feet, he looks like he's the one to beat. But here comes Third Wind. Wingo, my friend. Come on then, Tom Cannon. Get this up there. You do not want to be last, I don't think, going over that final hurdle. What's he got left in the tank? Because Lisnagar Oscar We know he handles the track. We know he stays all day. I'll tell you, he's going to take a lot of beating, I think.
Good job.
Over he goes. Third wind now, switch to the inside. Itchy feet not getting home. On the blind side at the one pace. It's all about whether he can get the split now. On third wind,
Is he going to get him? Is he going to get him, Dave?
Oscar not giving it up lightly. Sean Bowen on the inside.
Good job.
Third wind. Go on, my old son. Outspeed him. Up we go. Here we go. This is the one I wanted in the bag. Come on, try and get him up. We've seen him foil on the run in here. Not today. Tom Cannon, one of the strongest jockeys out there, pushes him out. This is an absolute peach. Aye, goes the third wind. Oh, he's coming back in the defeat. Don't you dare.
Yeah.
Listener Oscar, what a race he has run. He'll be fancied by quite a few now, I think, back-to-back wins.
He's let him up the inside. You can't be doing that. But you've got to shut the door.
Well, we'll get to that, Batch, because that is interesting, isn't it? Because a lot of people would be screaming if he didn't let him up the inside. I'll tell you what, that was a lovely, lovely ride, that. And if you go back to that big handicap when Main Fact, who hasn't figured today, it was heavy, heavy ground. Nothing was travelling better than third wind. So this was the theory going back. He's run well in the Potemps final. I guess they're going to roll the dice in the Stayers Hurdle now. But before we get the fallout from Batch and G-Rod on the panel, let's see what the story of the market was with Barry Orr.
Yeah, Main Fact had a Betfair SP at 10.5. He hit a low of 4 Main Fact in running. Your winner had a Betfair SP of 6.22. He hit a high in running of 16.5, would you believe, before getting that run up the inside. On the blind side, hit a low in running of 2.14, unbelievably.
Wow.
And Liz Nagar Oscar hit a low in running. Just waiting for an updated price to come in for him for the Stayers Hurdle. But Liz Nagar Oscar hit a low of evens.
I'll tell you what, that is a good run from Liz Nagar Oscar. They will be delighted at Rebecca Curtis's yard about that. Sean Bowen coming back at him all the way at the line. We know Cheltenham. I know he's won here as a novice, but Cheltenham just suits him really well. It was a spellbinding winner last festival, wasn't he?
Yeah.
It was that Liz Nagar Oscar everyone was saying. You know, couldn't quite work it out. Of course, Paisley Park blew out. What do we make of the first two there, first and foremost, G? If you think that on the blind side brings solid form to the table.
Yeah, I don't think they're any good. I think they're both. I think they're both big towns.
I knew you two were going to enjoy working with each other. He's quite serious. He's quite serious. You don't think they're any good?
No. I think...
Now, okay, all right. Let me temperance that. On the blind side, beaten by McFabulous. Okay, actually ran McFabulous closer at Kempton, right? And McFabulous not far at all off Time Hill and Paisley Park. And so it's a great yardstick, that, G.
Yeah, but Time Hill and Paisley Park ain't that good either. Not now. I mean, Paisley Park is like about £10 below his very best form, and he's still winning long walk hurdles. You know, because the rest of them just ain't that good.
You don't think Time Hill's any good?
No, I don't think he's that good at all. I think
unbelievable scenes. The machines are going mad out there.
I think he's well below what we would normally win a half decent. Stayers Hurdle.
I can hear Barry moaning in my ears. That's sigh there, Barry.
They're the best around, aren't they? Liz Nagar's done nothing wrong there. He's run a good trial for the Stayers, but I think the two at the head of the market are two good horses. Yeah, they're the best what's around at the moment.
Graeme Rodway 2 races to warm up, but here he is in full fettle. So are you saying basically, no, that's fair enough. Are you saying that the Stayers Hurdle division is way below when Paisley was on rocking form? What
I'm saying to you is that the par winning figure for the Stayers Hurdle in the last 12 years, our Racing Post rating is 168.
You've been doing your homework here. This isn't just madcap.
Right, and what I'm saying to you is that Time Hill has not bettered 163, I think, or 165.
He was unlucky not to beat Monkfish in the Albert Bartlett, though, you know.
And Paisley...
Yeah, but are we comparing these with big bucks? He's in a league of his...
We're comparing it
Barracuda,
with...
the best thing over all time.
Big bucks.
We're comparing it with the average Stayers Hurdle winner, basically. The average Stayers Hurdle winner would be able to run to a Racing Post rating of 168. And my point is, at this point in their careers, Paisley Park and Time Hill are not able to run to 168. I think the best that either of them got is 165 in the recent past. Now, obviously, you go back a couple of years. Paisley Park was a 170 horse, and he's right up there with like the best Stayers. But it's a really poor Stayers Hurdle this year, with the top two in that market, Time Hill and Paisley, well £3 or £4 below the average normal Stayers Hurdle winner, and something from behind them in the market is going to get there, and will produce 168, I think, this year.
But not Third Wind and not Listener Go
But I don't think it'd be either of those two.
All right, well, let's see if we can conjure that out of him. Let's get social media. He didn't say selection this time, he said social. Rock and Roll 80, good to have you back on the show, says, does Rodders rate any Stayers? You've just had that there. Can you look in the market and remind yourself what we're going through this and what might be? Because people are probably hanging on this. I mean,
I think that like there's improvers in the race. Like I think Florin Porter, the horse from Ireland, I think he has already run to 164, 165, and he's a lightly race. I think he's a 6-year-old. He's very sort of young horse, up and coming. So if he's already run sort of 164, 165, I think he's capable of getting a 168, and 168 will be good enough to win the average Stayers.
Can you make all in a Stayers Hurdle? Because this is what Florin Porter, the horse he's on about, likes to do. If you're on a front one, would you be going and thinking, I don't know, right, I'd love to take a lead on this, for example, because that hill, obviously, you're there to be shot at.
I think you've got to do what's right for your horse on the day. And if that means making the running, you can make the running, you can win Stayers, you can win any races.
When was the last Stayers Hurdle winner to make all? If that's what Florin Porter's going to do. I can't think. Perhaps you could let us know out there. Go on.
What was the one Great Tricks?
Yeah,
that made the run.
Oh, yes, it was. The tiny horse, his great horse, Cole Harden.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cole Harden made it.
Blown that one out. Everyone's getting on their keyboards.
Yeah, come on.
Batchelor's on it. Well done, Batch.
Anyway, that is the best betting race of the whole festival. That Stayers Hurdle
because there's so many vulnerables.
The top two in the market are not running to the standard needed yet.
That's what you get.
Not to say that Time Hill can't, but did you think he was unlucky last year not to beat Monkfish? I thought he was beaten fair and square.
You might want to go back and have a look at that replay.
We're fair and I backed him that day, and I know that I would be pocket talking if I thought I was unlucky, and I definitely didn't think I was unlucky.
Have a look back.
Whatever happens,
he was mullered about 5 times up the running.
Rebecca Curtis will be delighted with that run.
Yeah.
Bowen might be. Listen, you've turned in.
You've talked about the tactics here on the inside. Was Sean Bowen right to give up the inside? Did he give up the inside? If you'd have been on Tom Cannon on third wind like I was, I'd have been screaming if he hadn't, because he would have been one of these moves that we're trying to, I know it's race winning. A movement, and it's race riding batch, but
Bowen will look back.
The gap was there.
It was there, and this is why I think Bowen will look back now. When you've got beat on the inside, you're going to kick yourself.
Yeah, and coming back as well at the finish. Oh.
You're going to kick yourself. You've turned into the straight. Now he had enough time to get over onto that inside. Yeah. Now listen, I'm only doing it, so that's my point of view. But he might have run around the track and thought the inner's not good. But that's
You'd be rubbish. Berating yourself,
yeah,
wouldn't
but
you
that's
now?
Rubbish, because the winners come from the inside. If you get big, you need to make them come round the outside of you.
Get your thoughts in. Is Batch right? Was that a poor move by Sean Bowen, or was it just the right horse winning? Let us know. Graeme Rodway, the Stayers Hurdle, one of the best bets at the festival. Why? Because the market leaders are not up to the usual standard. Wow, unbelievable scenes. Let's move on. We've got the 225 at Ascot coming up. A competitive handicap chase on paper, Barry Orr, but the market, it's been all about Jerry's back.
Yeah, all about Jerry's back. He's currently a 25-1 chance for the Grand National. He's 3.7 to win this, 6.6 New Tide. He's been a big mover as well, Dave. New Tide was matched as big as 11.5 in the Exchange into 6.6. Yaltari 7.2, 11.5 Musical Slave. He's on the slide. Cobalobo is currently 11 and it's 15 Captain Chaos. Betfair Sportsbook, interestingly, paying 4 places to each way punters on this race. The one I like in it, though, is Cobalobo. He's what I fancy. I thought he won well in Exeter. He stayed on well behind Eckhart last time out. That form is being put to the test very soon in the Grand National trial up in Haydock. He's a horse I like, and I think he's a horse going in the right direction. So we're going to back him in the winning place as well. So 25 quid in the win market on Cobalobo at 11. And then into the standard place market here, which is 3 places. He's currently trading at 3.25, which is 9 to 4. We're going to have 25 quid on him there as well.
Barry, superb. Thank you very much. We're going to be a bit quick with this because these races are now coming a little bit thick and fast. That's how we like it here. So, not socials. Selections, please. I thought that Jerry's back was one of the best favourites of the day.
Jerry's back of his form of the last 2 of Dashel
Drasher.
And
he cruised up that day, didn't he?
And Kilts Regal Uncle always runs well around here, 10 to 1 for a place.
Yeah, love Regal Uncle. Won this race a couple of years ago before going to the Grand National, as Barry mentioned. Graeme Rodway.
Yeah, quite strong on one at a price. Sub-Lieutenant.
You were strong on him last time he rode there. This is the outside of the lot.
Yeah, I don't understand why this horse is such a big price.
You did the preview for this in the paper today, didn't you?
Yeah,
I read it, yes.
I did. I backed this horse actually last time out. It was 66 to 1.
I remember.
And turning in, I thought he was going to win.
I remember thinking you were mad, as usual. And then turning in, I was like, oh no, I'm going to have egg on my face again. But it was first run back,
He
wasn't
finished fourth, and he's just outside the places. And I don't think he was fully wound up that day. That was his first run since July. Wow. His first run for the trainer Georgie Howe. Now this horse is should improve significantly for that run. I think he's very well handicapped on his best form in Ireland. He's a graded winner in Ireland a couple of times.
Used to be in the Gigginstown. He was one of the
I think he's got a great chance of being placed and might even win at 33 to 1. So yeah,
I'm a big fan of Tabitha Worsley.
Yeah, good rider. Yeah.
Really good rider she is. Yeah.
Talking about claims, this is the race that I wanted to get into claims about.
Well, all right. I mean, they're about to jump off just before he goes off on one.
Right now, here in this race, right, I was quite keen on Yaltari because
Yaltari, what a letdown he's been.
What's his name? Hugh Nugent.
Yeah.
He was booked to ride this, claiming £5, and I thought, well, this horse is about £4 a bit ahead of his mark, I think, roughly, judged on his last run. And then you add on Hugh Nugent's claim, which I tend to do if I like them, and I like Hugh Nugent, I think he's good.
Yeah.
I thought, well, this horse is £9 well in then. If he's £9 well in, he's got a good chance of winning. But the problem is that they've now gone and they've got rid of Hugh Nugent, they stuck Daryl Jacob on. So I've gone, well, I don't think Daryl Jacob's that much better than Hugh Nugent, so I'm going to take the £5 off. Now I think he's only £4
Yaltari.
Yaltari.
Yeah.
He's only £4 well in now. I don't think he can win.
Tony Ennis, who joins us on this panel quite often, a couple of seasons ago, he told me Yaltari was one of the best jumpies he'd ever seen. Next time out, he fell at Exeter, which is supposed to be the easiest place to jump around. My point. It's all gone wrong. Typical Enzo.
My point is,
Captain Chaos? Give him a chance.
How do we know, right, that Jacob is £5 better than Nugent, and what's £7 better than someone else? It's a guessing game, isn't it?
Well, I suppose so.
Do you think he is?
One of them's only learning their trade, and the other's nearly a master of their trade. So there's a massive difference.
Oh, there's never a master of this trade.
There's
never a master of this trade, Barry.
Paul Nicholls should have him up on Master Tommy Tucker instead of Daryl Jacob.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
No. But there you've answered your own question.
But is there
a little bit of jousting going on already on the panel?
Is it £5, Barry? Is it £5? I don't think it's £5. I think you're probably looking about £2.
Easily.
You think?
Easily.
I'll tell you what, it's usually nice and civil on this show, but we can tell we're coming up to Cheltenham preview time, can't we? When it was usually you turn up to these previews and you see these pundits that are usually so nice to each other, going at each other, tearing strips out of it because it's Cheltenham. Here, you're getting it on Racing Post Live. Barry Orr versus Graeme Rodway. Lovely, loving that.
Not at all.
He's backing out. Okay, listen, great stuff. Rodway is here. Mattie Batchelor is here, Dave Orton is here, and Barry Orr. We're with you until the 3:35. Just after that, where Surname tries to get his reputation back on track. Still haven't heard whether Surname, is it a knocking bet, odds against, or are you indeed laying it? Let us know. Get your socials in. Lovely to have them along the way. It's the third race at Ascot coming up. It's over 3 miles. We'll have a bit of time to get one of your madcap theories in during this. Probably about claiming riders, but.
Where is Nugent today? Is he riding elsewhere?
I don't know why he got taken off of it. And maybe they just fancied having Daryl Jacob. Or maybe they're from the Barry School of Thought and they just think, well, Daryl Jacob's worth more than £5.
Well, talking about the Barry School of Thought, as Jerry Back continues to get short, he could have the potential bounce about him, couldn't he? It was 28 days ago, but we haven't seen him. He's a horse that has had his problems.
Remember him having like a massive long layoff, 560 days. Then he came back, he ran terribly, and then he won at 66
He must have soft ground because of his leg problems, I think. But he could be a horse that wouldn't be out of place in the Nationals, Barry said. But Cobolobo, I make him a danger to Jerry's back, Barry, and he looks like he's hardening up all the time. Yeah,
there's money for him. He was into 7.2. He's 8.2 now. We backed him at 11. Another one there's money for. Pulled up last day. Hill 16 has been mixing it over hurdles, and that 19 into 9.6 for the Twisters. So plenty of money for outsiders in it against the favourite. The favourite strong at 4.5 on the exchange.
Okay, a tongue tie on for the Twisters, Hill 16 there. We're just hearing from the boys in the gallery. Hugh Nugent is actually on the sidelines at the minute.
Broke his leg, apparently,
That would be why.
Speedy recovery.
Indeed, absolutely. You'll be watching from the sidelines and cheering on Daryl Jacob. On Yaltari, good luck wherever you're cheering on the sidelines. Regal Encore is one of these funny horses batch in there. They've got to keep him wide at the start. Tom O'Brien, of course, on Musical Slave. He's in the red cap. He's out the back. Will he get over the fences? They're off and running as usual. Harry Skelton, Dan Skelton, and Captain Chaos ringing it to the first fence. I'll tell you what, Jerry's Back had a bit of a look at that out the back, and Musical Slave, if you remember in the Sky Bet, he walked through almost every fence, and where was he? He unseated in the end when he was fancy for that. Again, this is not the sort of track for him. He's already, again, there was money for him. Was it Tom Segal put him up today? Or someone went for him today, I think. One of the big tipsters out there. They're already way out the back, because winging up front, Coba Lobo and Captain Chaos. I mean, Batch, they're trapping.
They are trapping.
Jerry's Back almost go.
Is that out of his comfort zone, Zing?
They're getting him out of his comfort zone here. He's not liking this pace.
Hill 16's being pushed along. They've only won 2 fences.
He was all at the back at the minute. I'm looking for some of the other back markers at the minute. Yaltari's got a nice sit just in around about 4th place at the moment. Hill 16, he's right out the back as well, isn't he? Wow. They're taking a leaf out of the Dashel Drasher book, aren't they? In these handicaps around Ascot. Just get out the front. Even if you feel like you're tired, the others will all be beaten by the time
they've got to slow it up soon. They can't keep up this bit.
Coba Lobo then, John Joe O'Neill Jr. He's got the cavalry behind him. He's gone for it after 2 fences. Now there's maybe just starting to mellowing out a little bit now, aren't they? Thank goodness for that, because I'll tell you what, that was going to be a pace collapse. Dave Bass on New Tide, he'd be happy with his position, I think, at the moment. First time back from Windop, as Barry said, plenty of money for Kim Bailey and Dave Bass around. It was only not that long ago that we were seeing Dave Bass give probably, in my view, the ride of the season so far on first float in the Clarence House. Champion Chase bound they are.
Jerry's Back finding a bit more rhythm now.
Regal Encore, he's going nicely, isn't he? Barry, what's the market saying then after these tearaway leaders?
Yeah, Jerry's Back was out to 7.8 at one stage. He's just settled in again at 4.8 now. We're looking at Coba Lobo, who was back at 11, is into 6 in running, and then Captain Chaos is into 12.5. That's close to his Betfair SP of 11.9. Some of the rags, Hill 16 out to 85 now. Haven't seen money for that earlier, into about 9.6.
Yeah, he's going to have to. He's going to be a miracle for him, I think, isn't it? Who's catching your IG?
Well, I'm happy with the position of my selection, Sub-Lieutenant, because Tabitha Worsley's got him right up there nicely, just on the outside of Coba Lobo now, moving past Captain Chaos. Although they do appear to have gone quite fast, I don't think I want to be right at the back, because they have steadied it up quite a bit, haven't they?
We just see it so much this season in particular. These front runners, they just stay there, don't they? And at Ascot, if you've been joining us on RP Live for the Ascot Chases, they don't come back, do they? But this, we think, is a breakneck gallop. Coba Lobo jumping for fun. This will indeed be a marker for On Guard, of course, who goes up for that Grand National trial, as Barry mentioned. Richie McClernand doing his usual batch, isn't he, on Regal Encore? You'd be happy with him at the moment?
Yeah, Richie would be happy. He knows how to ride this horse. He loves it round here, and I'd expect to see him in the finish each way.
There was a massive mistake from Jerry's Back, Barry, and he doesn't really look like he's totally back on an even keel. This is a horse that needs to travel smoothly into his races. What's the market saying about the Fav?
Yeah, the market suggests otherwise. He's a flat 5.0, so he's a 4-to-1 chance at the moment, Dave. He's still favoured in running ahead of Coba Lobo, who's 5.5. Captain Chaos now 11.5. So out of the two in front, the market's suggesting that Coba Lobo has best chance of staying there.
Captain Chaos just stays absolutely all day, 4th in the Classic Chase, wasn't he? Behind the aforementioned Not a Chance.
Looks like they're pressing on the accelerator pedal again here, Dave.
So what's the thinking here, Batch? This is the Dashel Drasher handbook, isn't it? This is what we saw at the last meeting. Just keep going, keep going.
That's it. You've got to if you jump, you've got to use it down here. You can steal lengths, and then while you're going up the hill, if you've nicked 4 or 5 lengths, which they have, you can save a bit of energy, and they've got to use themselves uphill to get back to you. So you're
I wouldn't want to be on Jerry's back now, I'll tell you. He's going way back. The Cloudy Glen, the Venetia horse, is just nicely making his way through. He's a horse that stays, but can he bridge that gap? We saw it with Dimachine in the 150, didn't we? They do struggle to get them back. So, as we go round on there now, we're getting to the business end. Mattie Batch, I would suggest that this is one of the longest hills in jump racing, isn't it? A steady incline all the way. And these two we will see. I'll tell you what, Sub-Lieutenant here, G, you're going to be getting a little bit excited. Let's go back to Barry then for one final check at the market before they get to the business end.
Yeah, Coba Lobo is your favourite at 5.8, just ahead of Jerry's Back, who's also into 5.8. Jerry's Back now. Captain Chaos 4.1. He's the new favourite in running. They seem to be pulling clear. Cloudy Glen into 10.5. and Yeltari into 5.7. He seems to be getting bang into it, the grey in third.
I'm afraid I've cursed Sub-Lieutenant for you, G. He's gone backwards the moment I said it. Cloudy Glenn's made his mistake.
They've broken him, haven't they?
The sniper's got him from the stands.
I'll tell you what, Musical Slave is doing what he likes to do. Let's have a look at this then. Over they go. Yeah, Jerry's back. I'll tell you what.
He just fell off.
Cloudy Glenn's gone then. Fallen off, according to Mattie Batchelor.
Fell off it.
I'll tell you what,
he spotted a tenner.
You've bust him, haven't you? Okay, so this is it. 3 out, isn't it? Captain Chaos. I'll tell you what, these skeleton horses cannot do a lot wrong at the moment, can they? A treble yesterday up at Kelso. They won the first race. A novice hurdle at Ascot. Does anything get this back?
No, I don't think so. Not now.
Certainly not Jerry's batting. Captain Chaos. Oh, Ross Briley's a big fan of this horse. Ross will be back on tomorrow. We'll find out whether this is one of his picks. Can Musical Slave pot? I'll tell you what, they're absolutely walking.
I'll tell you what, they're up and down on the
very
spot.
Tired.
Here come the cavalry at Ascot.
Here comes Regal.
So I'll tell you what,
Regal gets the
he could well have a say, couldn't he? So he's over the second up, 5 lengths clear. Regal on course, surely the only one can say. Mattie Batchelor's getting excited here. Can Regal
he's up and down on the spot.
Can he?
No,
Here we go, coming to the last. He's rowing away. I tell you what, this guy just keeps going. What a brave effort from Captain Chaos. He's overwhelmed.
Come on, Regal.
I tell you what, Regal encore. He's eating it. No, he can't. Can he bet?
Oh, Richard!
I'll tell you what. This is unbelievable scenes. Is he going to get him? Oh! Unbelievable. Just when you thought Mattie Batch could not go any higher pitch. Oh, I think Captain Chaos has just stuck his neck out. Has he? Let's have a look. It's on the wire.
Yeah. Oh, 2 more
I
strides.
think Captain Chaos. Let's go to Barry Orr. Some decorum, please, Barry Orr.
What an horse that is, Regal, round there.
Regal Encore hit a low of 1.05, 20 to 1 on for 388 quid, would you believe?
Whoa.
Unbelievable scenes, really was. Your winner, Captain Chaos, that had a Betfair SP. He hit a high of 24 in running, Captain Chaos. Can you believe that? And the horse Coba Lobo that we backed in the place market, that had a Betfair SP of 8.3. We backed it at 11, hit a low at 3.05, so just under 2 to 1. But Captain Chaos for the Skeletons, a Betfair SP of 11.9, just lasting home.
What a lovely, lovely performance that was. I'll tell you what a well-named horse as well, because Captain Chaos it was in here. Unbelievable scenes. So 2 have come well clear. Look like Musical Slave does what Musical Slave does, gets behind, hits a couple of fences. God, Team Hobbs will be just frustrated with him. But Regal Encore, absolute Ascot specialist. They'll be looking forward to getting back in the National, won't they?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Good shout, Batch.
The National for him, I don't know if it's quite his cup of tea. He just comes here year in, year out and just runs his races. And he was unlucky today. Unlucky.
Yeah, it was. You've got to wait with him a bit. You've got to keep him wide, haven't you? It's a remarkable race, that, G, wasn't it?
Absolutely brilliant, wasn't it? That's exactly why we love jump racing. Yeah. You don't get those sorts of races on the flat. That was brilliant.
Yeah.
If you look at his last 5 races at Ascot, Regal Encore, the 13-year-old Regal Encore, 1 third, 1 third, very nearly won again, doesn't
Surely at 10 to 1, that has got to be a good bet.
Oh, that's a fantastic each way bet, yeah, absolutely. So if you went in with Batch on that, you're absolutely happy. And oh my goodness gracious me, Captain Chaos then, a very, very brave effort there from a horse that was well handicapped, but going at it hammer and tongs early, as Graeme Rodway says, that is why we are in this game. Jerry's back, taken out of his comfort zone, wasn't he? A horse that must do things nice and smooth, needs things to go his own way. Newtide a bit disappointed there as well. Again, this is one of these courses at the moment, isn't it? When you see these handicap chases, you've got to find something that's going to be prominent, that's going to attack its fences, and it's some watch, isn't it?
Do you know what as well? They're handicappers, and they've been put to the sword, and you've got good handicappers there making little mistakes because they can't handle the pace that they're going.
Comfort zones, something we know all about here on this panel. We must go up to Haydock though, however, because it is time now for the Grand National Trial. And, will we see anything come out for the big one, Barry Orr? It's a wide open race.
Wide open betting, 4 to 1 to field, 5.2 on the exchange. Eckhard 5.3 now. Sergeant 6.4, 7.6, not a chance, and it's 14 at Kiel. 2 Amigos, some money for that, 8.6 and 8.4. Ramesses the tie. The horse I like in it is not a chance. I'm just going to back him win. I thought he might have ran in that race in Ascot, but that was his second preference. So they've opted to go up to Haydock with him. A remarkably consistent horse. He's had 11 runs. He's only out of the first 3 twice in those 11 runs. He's a horse I like. He won the Classic in Warwick. and he's definitely a horse going in the right direction. Honourable mention as well to the favourite Eckhard, but not a chance for me at 7.8, and it's just a win bet. We're just going to have 40 quid on him to win.
Lovely. Okay, let's get that trade on so you can react to that out there at home. Barry Ott, again, having a rather good day thus far. Just missed out on the place, didn't we, Barry, with Cobolobo, but bidding to get back on track here. It's interesting that this horse is turning out relatively quickly after the Classic Chase, isn't it? I guess this is the stepping stone for these horses, G, isn't it? You think of the Classic Chase, you think of the Grand National Trial. Alan King straight away came out after Warwick. That form we've just seen well advertised by the fourth winning at Ascot, of course, and said, no point, don't talk to me about the Grand National. I don't really like the race. I don't have a great record in it. And the owners don't like it either. We'll be looking at Ayr, maybe the Welsh National as well.
Yeah, it's not really an attitude that I like because I love the Grand National, and I like to see the best stayers running it. But, it's their choice, isn't it? It's their horse and they're the owners. So if that's what they want to do, then fair play to them. And I thought that this horse was making good progress when he won at the Classic Chase. The only thing is, he does remind me a little bit of a couple of other winners. Was it that race and the Bet365 Gold Cup that Alan King also won?
Talk is cheap.
Talk is cheap. And those horses never quite went on, did they, to go on and I know he won a Bet365, so that's a big race in its own right, but maybe didn't go on to win a real big prize. So is not a chance going to go on, or is he going to go backwards?
I'm a bit surprised he's not outright favourite here. I thought he might be when I was making my selection. I went for On Guard in the end. I thought the Ascot, I liked him and Sojourn. Sojourn we covered in the Tommy Whittle when he came up just short against Sam's Adventure in that. He cruised through that race. Andy T. Hannibal, we've just seen with Regal Encore, his horses have come back from a break in really good fettle. I just thought the stronger form might be On Guards with Cobolobo, who we've just seen. I think we can... I'm not worried about Cobolobo fading to finish fourth, having duelled early on. I'm not totally sure that's the way to go with him. It's On Guard for me. I didn't think he'd be fav, though, I must admit.
No, I agree with you. I didn't think he'd be fav, but it's a cracking race because it's full of course specialists, isn't it? They're all old favourites at Haydock who absolutely love it there.
The two amigos got business with the race before. Achille, of course, who was second to Not a Chance in the aforementioned Classic Chase. Perfect candidate, who is the course and distance winner from earlier in the season. Just stays. Lord Domenil, Ramses de Taille, second in the race last year. Who's the G-Rod pick?
Yeah, no, I'm quite confident on Ramses de Taille, who was second in this race 2 years ago.
And who rides him?
Behind Robbins Firth. And Fergus Gillard rides here, claiming he's £5.
This is all seamless stuff, isn't it?
Seamless.
What do you feel? Again, Ramses has been running under Tom Skew. We've got Fergus claiming £5 here.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong, I know Tom Skew's a great horse, but I don't think he's a £5 better rider than Fergus Gillard, in my opinion.
Wow.
So I've included the...
I don't know if it's going to be... It's just been called a horse.
What did I say?
He will call you out for these things.
What did I say?
I called Dickie Johnson, Ricky Johnson the other day, not lived it down. You called Tom Scudamore a horse, I think. I don't think he's a very good horse.
I don't think he's a very good horse. He should be...
You'll love it.
He should be on the scrap heap. He's gone.
Tom Skew is not a £5 better horse than Fergus. For me, Fergus getting that extra £5.
Yeah. It makes a lot of sense.
It makes a lot of sense. He puts him in on I think £2 lower than when he was second in the race last year. 2 years ago, I keep saying last year, 2 years ago, if you include Fergus's claim, of course.
Yeah,
which
Paul Keeley likes this
do.
as well. I think he was chatting to me yesterday about this. I'm pretty sure we'll put it up as Sizzlers. Two amigos in there as well. I did the Kevin Morley trend email that I get on Tuesdays. Are you a recipient of that as well?
Yeah, probably.
I'd like to go through the handicaps and tick them off. Not so much with graded races, but handicaps I do like to do it. And there were 4 that made the list. Ramses, if he'd have been a little bit lower in the weight, so interesting to see the £5 claim. David Pipe doing his homework as per usual. The winner of the first race on the show went to the Pipe Yard, of course. And but apart from that, it was the two amigos, Not a Chance, Sojourn and On Guard. Did you like any of them or something completely different?
Listen, it's one of those races. Whoever crosses the winning line, you will not be surprised that they've won because you can give every chance. I do like Sojourn and Not a Chance as well.
You don't fancy Tom Scudamore? Oh, he's not in this one, is he? Oh, forgotten.
No, he's currently having a bowl of oats down at Ascot, I think, isn't he?
And Tom Cannon will like to win another race because it'd be killing him that he's had to drive there on his own because he didn't like driving a long time ago. A little story, I'll tell you about him later.
Well, he's on a quick double, of course, Tom Cannon, having got up the inside of Sean Bowen. Keep your social media comments coming in. This is Racing Post Live. If you're just joining us, great to have you. You've missed some absolute corkers, but we're only warming up. We'll be back with you tomorrow as well, a Super Sofa Sunday. But right now, it is the Grand National Trial over 3 mile 4. And who's going to take up the running as they go to the first fence? Achille, much more positive they're being on him today. He's on the inside. It looks like Potter's Legend's going to be up there as well. But it's Lord de Menil and to Two Amigos again, second in the Welsh National. To Secret Reprieve. Was it Secret Reprieve who finished second too? What's the name of the horse? Two Amigos. I'm absolutely losing my mind. It wasn't Secret Reprieve, was it? Oh, yes, it was. Secret Reprieve. Yeah, the Welsh National winner, of course, who might be going for the big one. So will we see something come out of this that's got a Grand National credentials? The weights, of course, went out on Tuesday. Nothing needs to worry about its handicap mark now. So off they go trying to get that handicap mark up. I'll tell you what I love in the Grand National, guys, when we've got time to talk about it, as everything's nicely over the third fence. I love a horse like Comply or Die that's well ahead of the handicapper. Tiger Roll wasn't he? Horses that have really got something to give. I think it's become that sort of race now.
Yeah, definitely. It's become more of a sort of classy horses race.
It's not so much of a lottery anymore, is it? I don't think, which might sound a bit odd to say about Grand National, but since they made the modifications and
I think that what you just described there is the Ladbroke winner, Cloth, the John Joe horse.
I do like
10-5.
I like
he got
him.
any? I think 10-5. Yeah.
And hopefully the ground will dry out for him as well. That's what they're hoping at John Joe's, aren't they? Yeah.
The interesting thing here is that this is obviously called the Grand National Trial, this race, but I don't think you're going back a million years till the last Grand National winner around it. I think Party Politics was last Grand National.
Is that right?
But he ran it the year after he won it. The year after he won the Grand National, he won it. But why would you want to run your horse in a Grand National Trial at Haydock a month before on what's usually really testing ground?
Well, going back to Comply or Die, do you remember what he trialled for? No. Which race it's coming up next week here on RP Live. It's one of the strangest races to prep in for a Grand National.
Not the Ida.
The Ida. He absolutely, Mattie Batchelor, absolutely on fire today.
Ooh.
Who knew? It was the Ida, and he had about £12 in hand the handicapper, going back to 2008 or 2009.
Funny way to
for
go.
David Pipe, who of course has Ramsey to tie in the race. So I don't know. It depends on the horse, I guess, doesn't it? But
because that is a hard race.
That is 4 miles and absolute gruelling stuff. That will be bringing that to you next week here.
So
on
bad
Racing
mistake
Post
by
Live.
Sojourn there, was it?
Was that an error from Sojourn? Let's see if the market's picked up on Sojourn, Barry. He's rowing away early.
Yeah, 6.6. He's a Betfair SP is 6.2, so they're not overly concerned about him in running. Achille is out to 12. Not a chance, 6.4. He's the one that's come in running support. And Lord de Menil is Betfair SP at 9.2, currently trading at 5.1, so nearly half is Betfair SP.
This was the other one that Paul Keeley mentioned to me yesterday as well. Top tips from the Racing Post. No doubt you've picked that up in your members section as well. He had an excuse when he came back over hurdles first time out. A big bit of birch in his leg that got him ready, but he didn't really fire last time. Is there a big pot in him? He's certainly jumping well up front at the minute.
This is the place to be in these staying handicaps around Haydock. We just see
Perfect Candidate. Gene. Looks like Perfect Candidate might be calling it a day, Paddy Brennan. Yeah, he is looking after the old boy.
Time and time again, I see in these sort of 3 mile, 4.5 furlongs around Haydock, you get the lead, and then suddenly they just all drop away in behind, and the leader just continues. Remember that happened early in the season with Perfect Candidate, who was just pulled up.
Yes,
where he just sort of jumped off in front. He didn't do anything. He just carried on jumping and travelling, and everything else just slowly dropped away, and he won by 50 odd lengths.
However, in the Tommy Whittle and the Peter Marsh, when Royal Pagaille won, the front runners did wilt in that, didn't they? But I'm with you. You would think at Haydock Batch that of all the places, unlike Ascot where they're on the climb, on this sharp track, you would like to think that maybe if I'm getting one right, get out and I'm just going to stay there.
And it makes all the difference when you're riding on this ground, because it's that much difficult to make up ground when it's like that. On quickest ground, good ground, it's easy to do, but it's so much harder to do and difficult for the horse. Yeah. You're expanding your energy just to get closer to the ones in front.
So out the back at the moment, playing catch-up Sojourn. He's strong traveller this sort. A little bit like Jerry's back in our last race at Ascot. I'm slightly worried about his chance now. Ramsey Sataye catching my eye, not just because he's a grey G, but he is actually travelling quite nicely. Two Amigos up there really well. He's got a nice sit. On Guard's got a lovely sit as well, hasn't he? Charlie Hammond riding this. He's a good claiming rider, isn't he? Very good.
See, I wouldn't be too worried about the Sojourn out the back. They're travelling, so it's not a chance. And for me, before I say it, they're still jumping. Okay, already got a bit close to that one, but he's jumping. Hold on, let me just put my foot in.
That's the great thing about jump racing, isn't it? You just do not know what you're going to get, but we are getting a proper gallop here, that's for sure, because Lord Dominiel...
He's still travelling okay, there's still a hell of a long way to go.
Another claiming rider, Paul O'Brien. Been around for ages, Paul O'Brien, and he's still got the 3 claim. So 2 Amigos then, placed in the race before. If a horse deserves to win a big one, it's Dickie Martin's 9-year-old, that is for sure. And will this be a big pointer for Secret Reprieve's chance in the Grand National, the Welsh National winner? Potter's Legend, another veteran just off behind them. He's got a nice weight. Jack Quinlan knows this horse like the back of his hand. Just tracking in then, travelling strongly to my eyes is On Guard. Ramsey's Ataye going well. Achille up against his old rival. Upsides as well, Not a Chance. A little bit further back than I thought he would be, Tom Cannon, I must admit. He just a slight semblance of an error passing the stands, and Sojourn out the back. So, that was a great jump that from Lord Dominiel, wasn't it? Attacked it.
Yeah, beautiful. I was watching Not a Chance. He jumped that well too.
So he's back on kill. Not a Chance is interesting because as a 6-year-old last year, they put cheap pieces on him at Newbury. I think he resented them. But the fact that they put him on those cheap pieces and they didn't come back with them this season shows that mentally he's really turned a corner, I think, this horse.
Yeah, he's not having it today.
No.
The curse has gone again. Unbelievable.
Starting to get racing now, aren't they? These 2 leaders. We've got 2 Amigos and Lord Dominiel really pushing on the pedal now.
I wonder exactly how Ramsey's Ataye is going as well, Barry. What does the market think about him? He's not quite sure what he's got underneath the bonnet.
Yeah, he's 12.5 and he'd a Betfair SP of 9.6, so he's on the slide a bit. Not a chance out to 15. Eckhard is very strong now, 3.5. He's your favourite in running ahead of the one in front, Lord de Massy, who's 4.7. But Eckhard is the one they want in running at the moment.
I think the Warwick race is just taking its toll and Not a Chance a bit,
Yeah, Achille, who was second in that race, coming off a big... He's not totally done with, is it? But Not a Chance.
Still liking this leader, Dave. What do you think? He's still going well?
I think Paul O'Brien's having the spin of his life so far, isn't he? Of course, he's got...
Amigos is going well.
He was way behind 2 Amigos in the Welsh National. So look, here comes On Guard now. He's going to try and serve it up. We're getting to the business end. Sojourn hasn't quite gone for it yet, but he's got around about 6 lengths to make up. Around the right-angle tunnel we come then. I'll tell you what, Lord Dominiel, Paul Keeley will be getting excited now. Now Sojourn starts to eat up the ground. Ramsey Ataye up and down on the spot. On Guard. He looks like he's emptying it. Once again, front runners going clear. Is this going to stay there? 2 Amigos absolutely wings it. On Guard, I tell you what, he's filling his lungs, Batch.
Yeah, he is. He's finding his second wind. Lord Dominiel just keeps...
winners in front here, I think.
Yeah, he just keeps finding when someone gets near him.
He is a course and distance winner, Lord Dominiel. This is going to be a great finish, I think, here, guys. Sojourn's just that little bit too far back, isn't he? 2 Amigos just coming up short now. Could On Guard go and take this on the inside?
Is he in front On Guard now, is he?
He might. It's a really tricky angle at Haydock. We're coming to the second last, I think, aren't we? Charlie Hammond getting him... He's getting Persuader out and he's going for it. This is a young horse. He goes slightly to his left. Here comes Achille. He's not done with. We know he stays all day. Could he come and spoil the party? The grey horse.
Four in a row here.
He's odds on 2. He's
Lord
Dominiel
picking up. On Guard now's gone. Is this the last? Up and over he goes. Lord Dominiel. Here comes Achille.
It's going to be a battle here.
Absolutely. Oh, go on, Lord Dominiel. Dig deep if you're going to do it.
Go on.
On the rail is Lord Dominiel.
Yeah,
Lord Dominiel's got him.
Right, that is Paul O'Brien. And a very, very brave call. Well done if you kept the faith with Paul Keeley's project of the season, Lord Dominiel. Been expensive up until now, but he's just rewarded rather nice odds. I think Barry Orr will tell us.
Yeah, Lord Dominiel had a Betfair SP of 9.2. Just when Achille came to him there and he looked like he might be going by him, he traded at a high, would you believe, Dave? There was £2 at 20, but better money at 13.5. The runner-up 1.11 for over 800 for around 900 quid. Achille. So 1.9 for him in the run to the last. Yeah, I'm just waiting for a Grand National update on the winner.
Thank you very much, Barry Orr. Okay, we've got around about 10 minutes to the next at Ascot, which of course the 3 o'clock with the big handicap hurdle there. Lord Dominiel looked beat, didn't he, G? You said him though, you called him the winner. You just thought he'd keep staying.
Yeah, loves it at Haydock, don't he? I think that's 3 wins and a second from 4 runs there now, so absolutely loves it there. Obviously, he is in the Grand National, I think, and so is the second, Achille. I think they're the 2 Grand National entries in the race.
Yeah, they're both 40 to 1 from 50 to 1 for the Grand National on the sportsbook.
Okie dokie.
You know, this horse here, he's the right candidate for a Grand National because he's gone round there, he's made the running.
He'd make a sight, wouldn't he?
He's got the cheek pieces on, and he's probably one of those that just save a little bit for himself because every time a horse got to him up the straight there, like he looked beat, but he kept finding.
The one thing that he will want, of course, a little bit of pitter-patter the night before up in Liverpool. He does need soft ground. But Richard Hobson, really delighted for the team there because, like I say, they had high hopes from this season. Came back wrong after he ran him over hurdles in his prep for the Welsh National. Big bit of birch in his leg. And he just looked like he needed it in the Welsh Nationals. So well done. If like Paul Keeley, as I mentioned, you kept the face, beats Achille. And the two amigos, God, he doesn't half deserve one, doesn't he? Nicky Martin back in third. He's your benchmark for the race. Couple of quotes coming in, actually. David Carr has sent me Hughie Morrison on third wind. Not in the Stayers hurdle because he was beaten fair and square at Ascot. Doesn't think they can beat Paisley Park and Time Hill. He was getting £6 from the second, and he thinks that will put him fourth or fifth. Now, the interesting thing about this quote from David Carr, I haven't spoke to the owner yet, but we're going to sit back and enjoy this, quite right. A big day in the sun. If the owners can't go to Cheltenham, which is something we're waiting for the government to let us know, then they're less interested in going anyway. We'll go to Aintree. So isn't that interesting? I wonder how many quotes we're going to see over the next couple of weeks of saying, do you know what, Cheltenham this year? Not that fussed about it.
Yeah, it could happen, couldn't it? I think owners might end up there, with a bit of luck. Let's hope so.
Yes, I mean, look, we certainly pre-Monday in this country, Barry, we don't know quite what they're going to tell us. We're not hoping for miracle news on Monday, but there's been a little bit of loosening in Ireland as well, haven't they? Do you reckon we'll have owners at Cheltenham?
No, well, it won't be Irish owners anyway, I wouldn't imagine. Hopefully we'll get something in Cheltenham, but I think at this stage people have written off this year, Dave, in terms of the festival. I know there's not any Irish people travelling over to it and no owners, I would imagine. Looks like we're not going to be out of lockdown until maybe end of April over here.
It's around about the same here, Barry. I think if we were to guess, but if anyone tells you what's happening in the next 6 months, really, with the pandemic out there at the moment, they'd be guessing a little bit. However, we can flip it now. I've had a quote from David about listener Gar Oscar as well, the runner-up of the Rendel Show, which just got beaten. Really happy, as we thought they would be. Batch. I know he's won here before, but I think he's more of a Stayers track. We said they'd be happy with it. Why? Because it goes. She says, I'm very hopeful for Cheltenham. What price is he now to regain his Stayers hurdle crown, Barry Orr?
Liz Nagar, Oscar, just let me double check that, Dave. Just
you'd imagine he's around about 16s odd or something, Barry, wouldn't you? I haven't seen it, but he was around about 25s. All his best ones have come there.
Yeah, last time I looked, he was about a 20-1 chance. We're non-runner, no bet, obviously. Just let me dig it out here.
I've got time to freshen him up, she's saying,
Paddy
as well.
Power Stayers.
Before that, they're absolutely delighted with this. The wind operation has obviously worked.
16-1 from 20.
16-1 from 20 for last year's winner.
Market headed by Paisley Park at 3, 7-2 Tyne Hill. It's 7-1 bar at the moment. I fancy a 16-1 chance in Sam's Profile. Won the Galmoy hurling in Garran Park.
Is he in the Pine Hurdle tomorrow?
No.
No, okay. Well, I thought you saw him entered somewhere. Okay, all right, listen, we'll get to that Sam's Profile then for Barry in the Stayers Hurdle. Anti-post fancies, that's a good time to bring you in out there on social media. Let us know. Facebook Live, if you're watching on there, get your comments in. The guys in the gallery will try and get you a shout when we've got time. And on YouTube as well. Hello and welcome. Myself, Dave Orton. Absolutely loving being back with you this Saturday, 20th of February. We've got to go back to, is it Ascot we've got to go back to? Of course it is, as I mentioned, for a really competitive handicap hurdle. Last time I looked, it was Aaron Verducci and Gladiator Allen who were vying for favouritism. I like Kepage in the race, Barry. Where are you playing?
Yeah, it's when I looked at this race yesterday, it was 13-2 the field, and Gladiator Allen was 13-2, and I thought that represented a nice bit of value. Arrivederci is your 4.5 favourite at the moment, 7-2. It's 5.1 Gladiator Allen's. Kepage is 13, 14 Malaya and Kateson, 15.5 Kid Commando. I'm just going to back in the win and place market. I'm backing Gladiator Allen. I just thought that a 7.5 length winner of a novice hurl at the track last time out. Didn't really settle that day at all. So I think the drop back in trip and a guaranteed strong pace here is really going to help him as well. Chester Williams claims £5 off him for Jane Williams, and just think it could be an improving novice, and off a mark of 131. I'm going to take him to win and place. So 25 quid win at 5, and he's a little over 2-1 in the place. 25 quid in the place market as well. Just the standard place terms here, which is 4 places in the place market.
Yeah, 2-1 looks more than reasonable, doesn't it, for the place market on him? Totally unexposed 5-year-old then for Team Williams, for Team Barry, or then in the 3 o'clock at Ascot. You've got time to react to that trade out there if you want to play. the course winner then. You've got every right, haven't you, if you win a novice like that, to look at something like this, Batch?
Yeah, he won it by 7 lengths. It could have been more. He was green in front, and as Barry said, he was keen. The pace here is going to help him. He'll travel, he jumps, £5 off it. Everything's pointing that he's really well in. I do like one of Hobbsy's, Pillion. Back over hurdles.
Yes.
Unsuccessful over fences. And he was all right over hurdles on his day. At 14-1, I'll give that a little each-way squeak as well.
With your mate Ricky Dicky Johnson on it.
Ricky Johnson.
One of the highlights of Batch's last stint on this show was me calling Dickie Johnson Ricky in a commentary. And him and Charlie Post that day, I've heard nothing but
Ricky Johnson.
Ricky Johnson, yeah.
Ricky Johnson. If you haven't mentioned that to him, I hope. Former Racing Post ambassador, of course, former champion jockey multiple times. And interestingly, heard Philip talking about this horse. I think they call him Pylon in the yard. It was one of these names last year when he came to Prominence. How do we pronounce this? I think it's Pylon, but it just didn't go for him over fences. He had a little glint in his eye when he was doing his interview recently about this horse.
Yeah, it got a lot of time for this horse, Philip Hobbs. I was involved with the stable tour that we did down there earlier this year, and he really likes it, but didn't take to fences. Obviously, he was unlucky in the Martin Pipe, beaten
conditional handicap hurdle,
virtually at Cheltenham Festival. Would have been Hobbs' only winner of the week, and
it was a
agonising
desperate week for him. Yeah.
So it's interesting going back over hurdles because I just happened to run out some stats last night of Hobbs trained runners that come back from chases to hurdles, and they're quite good. It's about 17% since 2016, 10 winners from 58
Was that on Race From Interactive you played about?
Yeah. So I often think as well with Hobbs' runners, I think if they're going to make chases, it can sometimes take them time. I've seen a lot of Hobbsy chasers that I think, it don't look like a natural jumper, and then 4 or 5 runs down the line, it does look like a natural jumper over
Sporting
fences.
John.
Sporting John
being a prime example.
He's a
Captain
master
Chris
at bringing these horses back
one.
on song, isn't he?
So it wouldn't surprise me if we saw Pylon back over fences next season, maybe after staying over hurdles this year. I just want to throw in a word for one at massive price because, as you know, I'm a massive fan of Adam West, the trainer.
Yes.
And there's no way he'd be throwing this Phoebo into this race here unless he thought they had the ability to compete.
Yeah, he's a very interesting horse, this. I thought he was a certainty to win over fences earlier in the season for Kim Bailey. Do you remember that back in August, not long after the jumpers had just come back out? And he just couldn't get him right. He fell at Southwell early August. I'm just looking down his profile now. He's gone to Adam West. You can't think of a lot of horses that leave Kim Bailey's, can you, and get, really improved.
Is he training Epsom?
Yeah. I've been to the yard a couple of times. He's got a bit of a reputation as a horse whisperer, Adam West. Yeah, so he is good with these horses that he gets off other yards.
Does he actually whisper to the horses?
I've not actually seen it, but
I've seen his interview. I think he does whisper. Yeah.
Turn it up! Put the mic closer.
But, the horse has won like 3 of his last 4 runs, an unseated rider in the other. And
he has flat winners as well.
He's a dual-purpose trainer.
Yeah.
And I just know Adam West well, and I know he wouldn't be putting this horse in out of its depth. So, a massive price each way. I'd have to have a bet on Phoebo.
Lovely. Thank you, G. I like Kepage for Team Pipe off the mark already. Aren't they? We remastered on the first one of the show. 1 from 1 on a right-handed track. Love that angle. And at Warwick last time, better than it looked. And I'm quite
badly
confident
hampered at Warwick, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was, really stopped him in his track.
Yes, that's right. Badly hampered. Turning in, it was this back in the day when I used to go to this meeting. Martin Pipe. This was if you saw one of Martin's in it, you knew it had been targeted at this race. David has won it a couple of years back, but it was his father that used to associate with this particular handicap. And Kepage for me. Kid Commando I thought was quite interesting as well. Richard McClernand and Anthony Honeyball bidding to go one better than agonising defeat. Dramatic defeat, wasn't it, for Regal Encore? Probably the highlight for us so far of the day, that, wasn't it? Absolutely.
Was he there in 2019, Dave?
I have to say, I should have been. So look, where are you going? Let us know where you're playing. You've got plenty of time to react, of course, to Barry. He likes Gladiator Allen. I'm surprised that this isn't outright favourite. Is it on the machine, Barry?
It is on Betfair, Dave. Yeah, 4.7, 5.6 Arrivederci, and it's 13 bar those two at the moment. So the favourite you'd have to say is very strong at the head of the market.
Lovely. Thank you, Barry Orr. We're warming up, of course. We're about, half an hour away now, 40-odd minutes from the big one, the Grade 1 Ascot Chase. We're going to go to Wincanton as well. 3:18. 3.18 for Song for Someone. And Goshen, oh my Goshen, are you still with him out there? Are you still one of these fans? Unbelievable scenes in last year's Triumph Hurdle, wasn't it? Was it a fluke? The form is working out. Can he bounce back today? We'll be getting to that in around about 15 minutes' time. But for now, back to Ascot. A reminder of the tips, Batch.
Gladiator for me, yeah.
Gladiator Italian, so it's 2 ticks for him on the...
Fibo at 80-1 for me each way.
Why not? Okay, throwing a few shekels then. Let's hope you're having a good afternoon out there. We're having loads of fun in here. It's great to have you along with us. 3 more races, isn't it, as we bid farewell to Haydock now. Okay, so lining up at the front, Kid Commando's up there. Looking for Malaya of Paul Nicholls out the back at the minute. Cateson, a horse that ran 3rd last time out. Arrow Verdurci, the other grey in the race. Can he find a little bit extra? The market suggests he will. Shannon Bridge. What a surprise, Barry. It's Harry Skelton up front again.
Got a good week again, didn't they?
He likes being nice and aggressive, doesn't he, Harry? He's kicking on there into 13. Betfair SP is 17, already into 13 and run. They're going a good clip.
Once again, they're going a good clip. Let's just touch on that as they all get over the second. Okay. A couple of stragglers at the back looking for that one. That's in the Munir colours. Lammy Surge. My God, I saw a bit of love for Lammy Surge yesterday on lots of social media. Right out the back. We haven't seen him in what seems since the old King died, but Darryl Jacob has spin on the 11-year-old now. Lammy Surge. He's right out the back at the moment.
I'll never forget backing him in that 2019 long walk. Do you remember that?
When he looked like for all the money in the world, like he was going to get home.
He sort of cruised past the World's End, hard on the bridle, went about 3 lengths clear and then just stopped.
Yeah, Lammy Surge.
He traded 101 that day, didn't he?
That was the famous one, wasn't it, out here? Yeah. But look, he's talented enough to take him up and pick him on his day. So the top weight, a lot of people giving him another chance. Maybe the fresh angle for him. He's right out the back as well. It's Kid Commando and Shannon Bridge. aforementioned go up there. Stone and Silver's up there as well. Looking for Thibaut.
Just in nice midfield, and in a nice position, travelling well. Obviously, they're not going massively ridiculous pace, so I don't expect him to be beaten yet. I know he's 80-1, but let's hope that we get a little bit more excitement before he drops away.
Let's bring him back, because Harry Skelton, we sort of laugh about the aggressive nature of his riding, but if you look at horses like Nube Negro, who's definitely a player in the Champion Chase, he's more one that you have to finesse. He can do it both ways, can't he?
Yeah, listen, you can do it. He's on his brother's horses. He knows they jump, so they're going to use their jumping. And I think you're seeing a lot of this lately now. You know, everyone is in a hurry to get near the front. I've just noticed it. I don't have that many rides now, but there's a little bit of hustle and bustle, and they're jumping off quick and then getting their positions and coming back. It's happening a lot recently.
And in contrast to the chase course, where we've seen the front runners dominating, you're not so sure about it over hurdles, are you?
No, it's a little bit different. It's the chase course. You've got, as I say, the influence it's on your jumping. Over hurdles, you can make little mistakes and get away with it. Over fences, you can't really. Yeah,
okay, fair enough. Right, good insight from Batch there, as they look like they're trapping on the far side then. And it's Shannon Bridge who's now just about got a freebie up there. Over Durchi's got a nice sit, and the Gladiator at an end. He's catching my eye, Barry. He's pulling double at the minute.
Yeah, and he's been jumping. I don't want to put the muckers on him. Let's see how he jumps this one. But he's been skipping
Don't say it yet, Barry. Hold on.
Here we go.
He's been skipping over them.
Oh, he skipped over that one.
And he's settled a lot better than he did last day as well. Obviously, the
Lammy Surge been pulled up.
Really suited him.
Oh, no.
Sadly, Lammy Surge has gone wrong. It looks like he's had a leg injury, unfortunately, out the back. What a shame for the 11-year-old out the back. Oh, my goodness, he's given us some great fun over the years, hasn't he, Lammy Surge? A real top-class performer on his day. And that looks like the last race he's going to run. God bless him. So, okay, it's Shannon Bridge then. A horse that, again, has had his problems over the years, loves deep ground, but he won last time out. Team Skelton can't take this out again, can they? Unbelievable scenes. I'm quite happy with Kepage. He's on the inside. Thibaut's still going well. One that looks beaten at the moment. Stolen Silver, he's going out the back. Cateson's going backwards as well. Good man, Pat, catching my eye.
Whoa.
That was a resurgent run at Newbury last time, wasn't it?
Kid Commando? Yeah, bad mistake.
Kid Commando whacked that one, did he? Malaya out the back. Don Levant out the back as well. Where's it? What? Okay, Barry, let's come to you. We're about 4 or 5 out, I think. You know what I'm like with calling them how far out.
Shannon Bridge is now a 2-1 chance in running, Dave. He's your favourite at the moment. Shannon Bridge, clear favourite. Yeah. Kid Commando is a 12-1 chance. Gladiator's out to 16. 10 Kepage.
I'll tell you what,
the one in front.
Thank you, Barry. Thibaut's absolutely cruising now. Has he just given him too much rope? Kepage coming under the bridle. Not for him today. Verdurci. I'll tell you what, there's only one danger to this front runner, and it is Thibaut. As he comes off the inside bend. Who's riding this, G? Remind me. me.
This is Richard Patrick.
Richard Patrick.
What's he got left? Okay, Don's Levant. He can stay on a bit as well.
Come on, Fibbo.
Is this tying up in front? This would be unbelievable. This
Go
would
on,
knock
Fibbo.
Junkanoo out of the park. Unbelievable. So he's 2 out then. Shannon Bridge over. Thibbo out.
Fibbo.
Getting weight from all of them. Does he
Pick
stay?
him up.
Aaron Verdurci there as well. I'll
Come
tell you
on.
what, Harry Skelton's giving this
Oh, he's
absolutely
flattening
everything
out,
in
is
front. Thibbo's
Go on,
going to have
Fibbo.
him. All on the last.
Good job,
Shannon
come
Bridge
on.
is up and
Oh,
over.
come on.
Thibbo's done it
Go on,
well.
Fibbo.
Oh, I'll tell you what, this could just
Go on,
be
Fibbo.
unbelievable. Sees.
Oh,
On the stand side, Shannon Bridge.
no, he's going back.
80 to 1. This cannot
No,
possibly happen.
he's coming back.
Oh,
no.
The story of Graeme
Oh,
Rodway's career.
oh, don't
He's
believe
gonna
it.
go up
He's not
to
going to win.
Second best.
Oh.
Unbelievable
What a great
scenes.
run, though.
I don't know if he's ever going to be able to be picked up
Oh, I
back
don't
again from
believe
that.
it.
What a shout, Graeme
I don't want to
Rodway.
know what price that touched him running, Barry. Don't let me know.
108, 12 to 1 on.
Oh, 12 to 1 on.
78 quid.
108. Oh,
Unbelievable.
I don't believe it.
We're going to have to recover ourselves
I've never
here.
seen him so animated.
I'll tell you what, that was Regal Encore Mark 10, wasn't it? I've never seen him so animated. I think we can tell who took the 100 to 1, can't we, about that chap?
What a run.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, great shout, Graeme,
Great
because he
shout,
is,
look at
he's
that.
cruised through. Once again, Harry Skelton has spoilt the closing party by lifting a horse that wears headgear, that's resurgent, as Kid Commando walked through that. Error's got the better of him. Aaron Verdurci back in third. Don Levant ran on for fourth. He looked beat, didn't he? But he's just pulled it out. Do you think the rail has made the difference there?
You're going to have to pick me up off the floor, Dave. Oh, I don't believe it. Oh, I thought he had that.
That is remarkable. I tell you what.
The angles, was he...
I don't know. Might see a different angle if he was ever in front. He must have been. He traded at 108 and round.
He must have been. He traded at 108 for nearly 800 quid. I think the running rail made all the difference to Harry Skelton, didn't it?
Do you know what? This is something that at Ascot, they want to come to batch with here. It looks like they can close after last, doesn't it? In the opening race, we saw a horse called Galley Hill. It wasn't on this show, but it looked like he was going to come and get the Skelton horse. He found a little bit more. It's not easy to get up on the run-in after the last Ascot, despite the fact you're up a hill, is it, Batch?
No, and listen, Harry's... takes to get that rail as well. It's that little bit of help, and it's just, I think it's won him the race. I don't think he was ever in front, was he?
I don't think he was.
I don't think he quite got there. And you know what? He's sort of walking as he gets to the line. So,
but what a run! Great run!
Great
and Adam
Great
West
shout.
has absolutely transformed that horse. Wonderful shout, Graeme Rodway. Was he out the handicap? Yes, he probably was.
10 stone,
yeah. Okay, so he was out the handicap by a pound. So just crept in there. Wow, did you trade with Graeme Rodway as well? You must have been screaming at the tree there. So Shannon Bridge 12 to 1 then takes out the 80 to 1 shot. Hard luck, G. That was so close. Wow, unbelievable scenes here on Racing Post Live. I sort of could see in the gallery as well. They were shouting up and down as well.
Could he? Could run around a Coral Cup, that horse.
Is he in the Coral Cup?
I don't know if he's in.
Oh yeah, the entries aren't out yet, are they? Of course.
might be
All
now.
right.
Might be
Wow.
now, yeah.
Another race where you had to be handy around Ascot. Will that be the case in around about 20 minutes' time when we see Surname getting back out? Will he lead Master Tommy Tucker? Will he lead Dashel Drasher? My goodness gracious me, that's going to be an absolute cracker. But we must go to Wincanton. Nowhere in the country is the ground as bad as it is at the moment at Wincanton. Is that going to be a problem for the public horse? Song for someone, Barry Orr.
He's steady in the market. He has been evens. He's out to 5 to 4 now. 2.24 on the Betfair Exchange. Goshen 3.8, 6.8 Navajo Pass, 9.8 Friend or Foe. Some money for that, it has to be said. Paul Nichols charge. Bryony Frost in the plate. Esprit de Lodge is 19.5. I like Navajo Pass, but I don't think there's a lot of pace in this race. So what I'm going to do, Dave, he put his fitness to good use in Haydock last day when he beat Bruvadere. You know, they went off and they made all. Now, he doesn't necessarily have to make all, but he's some record when he has got off in front as a 3-year-old and 4-year-old hurler. He's never been passed. And same last day when he got off in front, he was never passed. So I think because there's no pace in this race, he's going to go off in front. So I'm going to back him, but I'm going to take my stake back in running. So we're going to back him. We're going to have 50 quid on Navajo Pass at 7.0. So that'll win us 350. And then we're going to put in to lay him back in running. So we're going to click on the lay, but we're going to lay him at 2.0. So even money. And we're going to take 50 quid back out of him. And we're going to keep bet. So ordinarily this bet would be cancelled when the bet goes in play. But if you click keep bet, once the race goes in play, your bet stays in play with it. So we could have a bet to nothing here, fingers crossed. And if he gets beat, we have a bet to nothing. If he wins, we win our 300 odd quid.
Thank you very much, Barry. Oh, yeah, he's a horse that's done you a favour. I remember you were with him. Was it Musselburgh, Barry, when we
Musselburgh on New Year's Day? I backed him, yeah.
Yeah, a right price that was. The young pretender. I'll tell you what, Donald McCain's having, I don't want to say the word resurgent. Trainers don't like it when you call them resurgent. But it does seem to sum up what's going on down there. They got a live hope in these colours for a price in the Supreme Bareback Jack. And they had a really nice novice win at Carlisle this week, Dreams of Home, who's hosed up at Newbury. And I'll tell you what, they've got some good young stock again. Can this chap take it out, Graeme Rodway?
I thought he had it to do against Song for Someone. I think Song for Someone's a real proper...
Is that the pick?
Yeah, Song for Someone. Yeah, very confident about this because I just think he's such a good jumper, this horse. He's so slick over his hurdles. He's a proper champion hurdle horse, I think.
I call him a public horse because he does just try, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's tough as old boots, isn't he? Yeah. And then he's going to go out and he'll jump, he'll travel, he'll be hard to pass. And he's got a great win record now, hasn't he? He's won his last 3, all in Grade 2 companies. He's trying to become the first horse since Hall-le-Loire to win 2 King Will hurdles, and Hall-le-Loire did go on and win the champion hurdle the year that he won his second one. Yeah, Dean Gallagher, yeah.
Dean Gallagher, there's a name, absolutely. All of Loire fame. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's absolutely riding a lot of decent horses now, isn't he? So, Song for Someone, a confident vote from Graeme Rodway. I have to say, I think this will win as well. I'd love to see him go for the Champion Hurdle. I thought, Barry, actually, can we get a pre-race odds from the sport, but a Champion Hurdle for this chap? Because if there was one horse amongst the Brits, anyway, that I thought could potentially crash, whether he's up to giving £7 to the 2 mares, I don't want to get far G-Rod up too much on that one. It might be a very tough ask, but we know he's won the International there. What price is he at the moment on the sportsbook for the Champion Hurdle?
For the Champion Hurdle, he's a 16 to 1 chance, non-runner money back, Dave. The market obviously headed by Honeysuckle. She's 2 to 1 now. Epitant is currently 11 to 4. It's 9 Silver Streak, Aspar Tower 10, along with Concerista. Sarja 10 as well, and Abracadabra's 12. Goshen, interestingly, in there at 16 to 1. He has it all to do today for me as well. But if you're looking at the anti-post betting for the Champion Hurdle, and you see 16 to 1 Song for Someone and 16 to 1 Goshen. I know which one I'd like to be on.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're all agreeing that Song for Someone there. And well, come on, right, Goshen. It's Goshen. There must be some social media questions out there about Goshen. Surely, Rock and Roll 80 says, I can't back Goshen. I still have post-traumatic stress disorder after the triumph. You're not alone. Bruce Millington will tell you about that. One of the great moments on this show, of course, Bruce's reaction to that. Commander Von Roerich, good to have you back on. Come on, Goshen. Show you who's the boss. Look, I know there's so many of you keeping the faith about this horse. Unbelievable. Let's get one more. I think we've got one more out there. Who's on there? Oh, here we go. This is his name again. Dugu Zuru, I'm going to call him. Would love Goshen to win by 10 lengths. What would it do in the Champion Hurdle market? Well, let's go to Barry quickly about that. What would he do if he hoses up here in the Champion Hurdle market?
If Song for Someone were to hose up here...
Goshen.
Oh,
if he was to hose up, yeah.
Janie, potentially they could cut him into single figures, couldn't they, off the back of it? There was meant to be a heart murmur last time round. When they got him back, there was no heart murmur, so the run was probably too bad to be true, but he has questions to answer still. But if he was to really be impressive today, you could see him in a market that's gone a bit stagnant off the back of the 2 mares heading it. Yeah, you could see them trying to prompt a bit of interest by cutting him into single figures, maybe 8 to 1.
Yeah, we've got James Stevens on track at Wincanton this afternoon, ready to type up this race. If Goshen goes and hacks up, we will go to James and get a word. But you're going to try and tee up Mattie Batchelor for Ascot before the Ascot Chase as well, potentially. So it's Song for Someone, 2 ticks here. Barry likes Navajo past, a big improver in the race, putting it to the sword from the front, could get a freebie. How do you see it going, Matty Batch?
Do you know what? I'll be interested to see what Jamie Moore does here, because he pulled very hard at Cheltenham, run with the choke out. All right, yes, he did stop very quick. They've had a stop-start with him. They was going to run here, they want to run there, didn't run there. I wouldn't be surprised if Jamie says, do you know what, let's jump out and make this.
Well, that's what he used to do, isn't it? Keep it simple.
I'll be interested to see what he does. Like, they're not going to let Navajo have a free run at it again. Navajo.
If you're going to pick him up and call him Tom Scudamore a horse, you're going to get a couple of pies coming your way.
I just it'd be interesting to see what tactics Jamie does.
So, yeah, interesting that, Barry, isn't it? If Navajo Pass wants a freebie. Friend or foe, also you mentioned, actually, he's definitely coming in the weights. He's got quite a bit to do at the weights, hasn't he? He was entered in your big hurdle tomorrow.
He was, yeah. And the horse I fancy in our race tomorrow, he finished second to him. Now, he was giving him, I think he was giving him £15 that day, Guard Your Dreams. But it was a good run because I think Guard Your Dreams is a nice horse. So he wouldn't be without a chance here for sure, yeah.
Yeah, that's very interesting, isn't it? And I seem to remember we spoke to Harry Durham and Harry Cobden last week on something completely different, Barry, and they said that this horse maybe's still got a big day in the sun, hasn't he? So interesting money there. We ought to talk about the other two in the race. Esprit de Large, a horse that's it's all gone wrong over fences for him, hasn't it?
Yeah, he looked very good, didn't he, at the start of his career over fences, but it's not really worked out for him. He did thrash Nubi Negra at Sandown, but
he did.
Yeah. Probably wasn't the real Nubi Negra that day, would you say?
Well, not the Nubi Negra, the 170 Nubi Negra that we've got now.
Yeah, that's the real Nubi Negra. I don't think that was.
That's the new Nubi Negra.
Yeah. I think we can dismiss Calgary Tiger, surely, can we? I'm not we've seen Thibbo nearly win at 80 to 1 for Graeme Rodway. Have you? How's the ticker, by the way? Is it? Are we calmed down?
I got the place money. I'm consoling myself with it, but you don't get 80 to 1 chances trade at that price.
I want to give you some inside info here. This is I don't think you'll mind this, but the first show that G did here, I think it was during Cheltenham. We had a little debrief with the team afterwards, and we went, right, Rodway, loads of potential, going to be great on the show. Need to get a bit more reaction from him though in the races. I think that has just absolutely peaked, hasn't it?
On the scale, isn't it? It's gone off the scale, off the chart today.
But that's what you get here on Race Post Live. And when you have a bet, these guys are putting their money where their mouths are. They don't just tip it up for the sake of it. They really do the study and they look at it. And that is the highs and the lows. Second place, first place loser, someone once said to me.
Yeah.
No one remembers the second. That's what they say.
That's right. Absolutely, Oliver Twist. But no. Unbelievable scene. So I'm hoping someone really goes and...
Could them two just set it up for him, I suppose? If Goshen does go off with Navajo Pass, it might just set it up.
What do you think about this series? I don't know, do you speak to Tom Simons about it this week, the champion hurdle? He's sort of like...
He hasn't nailed his colours to the mast on it quite yet. This will determine whether they go.
I've got a weird theory about it that, like, Coleman rode it, didn't he? And he's going to ride Epatante. Does he want to have to make that decision? Is he thinking, I'd rather someone wait for entry? And
you know a bit about Coleman. We've got time to talk about Champ quickly, just on that front. We'll get a word from Tom sooner or later. It does look like Tom is umming and ahhing, and the owners, you remember they had a great horse called Izio, who beat Azerti up in when it was the last Victor Chandler handicap run. Yeah. They always said that Aintree was more their bag. I seem to remember. Peter and Lady Gibbons, I think, isn't it? So Peter and Lady Gibbons, I think it is. Aidan Coleman has been making positive noises about Champ, hasn't he?
Yeah, we Linkfield on Monday, and him and Gavin Sheehan were chatting about it, and they both thought said they think he'll have a really good chance. I think he's got a win.
In the game spirit.
In the game spirit, but
the Betfair
game spirit.
Betfair
Thank you
game
very
spirit.
much, David, for giving me its full title.
I am. Listen,
in the game spirit.
You've got to give people credit out there for listening to feedback. I think we're going to have to go there. But certainly the advertising worked, Barry, didn't it? Because everyone knows what a bet pot fielder is, a pot bet fielder now, whatever it is. Even though I still can't even
say it. They know what it is, they just can't say it.
They just can't say it. Looks like Paul Nicholls is having a very good winner up at Haydock, actually. Monmire, I can see in the corner of my eye. This was my nap of the weekend. Yesterday on the feature show we did. Pop it up, my friend. Over you go. Nasalam just second then. We're about to see a repeat of that down here. We've got still two belters to come your way. We've got the Kingwell coming up in what? Well, it should be off time pretty much, shouldn't it? They're probably just waiting for Haydock to finish off now. That looks like a good horse, doesn't it? That Nicholls horse, that juvenile there, Monmire, oh my lord.
Will that go to the Triumph?
No, they're going to go to Aintree with it. So this could be a song for someone. This could be an Aintree in the sun.
They're off at Wincanton.
Oh, we're off at Wincanton. I was going to give you a line about Lord de Menil and the Grand National, but
Goshen's
we shall wait
there.
for that. So Goshen, he's having a good look at the first, isn't he? But he's going to eyeball Navajo Pass. Barry's called it right about the pace. Looking at that, friend for foe, riding him cold today, Bryony Frost. That'll be interesting. On the inside, the big rag, Calgary Tiger, and Song for Someone, the public's favourite horse. He's sitting around about fourth with Esprit de Large. Early thoughts, Mattie Batch.
I don't think Bryony can go with him. I don't think she's holding it up.
This is on friend or foe?
Yeah, friend or foe, yeah. As I thought, Jamie's got Goshen up there and said, right, let's go, and he's not pulling. He settled a lot better. He's jumped the first two okay.
Yeah.
Song for Someone is,
I'm not sure about Song for Someone. You know, I don't want him in that place. If I backed him, I don't want him in last, being pushed along a little bit, going around that bend.
Nowhere in the country, as I previously mentioned, is the going stick lower than today at Wincanton, which somewhat surprised me when he got Haydock and Ascot in the mix. It was around about 3.4.
Why are two of them? Why is Rendel Show being pushed along? Do you think they're going really fast?
Well, Rendel Show's a horse that likes to get on with it.
They haven't dropped that Calgary Tiger thing, and that's 80 to 1, isn't it? 100 to 1.
There's no battle for the lead, is there?
1,001. So
that 1,000 to 1. It's not very often you see a horse do that.
What's going on with Song for Someone? Why is he being pushed along? He's only gone 3.
Don't forget, of course, when he won the race last year, it was at Kempton. It was a reschedule, so this is his first time around Wincanton. I'm not that worried about him, G, at the moment. This is also stays a bit further. I think they have gone a fair old lick, actually. I'll tell you what, Goshen's going quite well, isn't he?
Yeah.
All right, Barry, we're on the far side. What's the market saying about Song for Someone? He must have drifted.
To listening to Rodders, he's out to 3.05 Song for Someone, so 2 to 1. It's 3 to 1 Goshen and Navajo Pass. Render Foe 6 and 9.2 Esprit de Large. So, yeah, the favourite into 13 to 8 now, 2.84. I wouldn't be too concerned about the favourite just yet.
What about Navajo Pass, just quickly, Barry, because he's in lovely rhythm, this chap, isn't he?
Into 4.4. Esprit de Large into 9 after BSP of 13.5.
That is interesting, isn't it? So took the scalp of Bouva.
You could be right now, actually, Rodders. You could be right. You've called that, I'd say.
Song for Someone getting some reminders then, as Goshen probably sitting pretty. Goshen must have gone favourite now, Barry.
Goshen is currently 2.58, 4.2 Navajo Pass, and 6.2 Song for Someone. Friend or Foe 5.6, but looks like the front two seem to have it between them.
One thing you know about Song for Someone, guys, is that he will try, and if they fall in a hole, he is coming a bit now. I think he is just outpaced, Graham, because he's absolutely staying
Two's on Goshen.
Two's on Goshen. Is this the moment you've all been waiting for then? As they turn in home.
Don't rule out Song.
The 2021. I'll tell you what, Song for Someone is coming as Navajo Pass now starts to feel the pinch. Goshen, this is the acid test for him then. Team Moore will be getting absolutely heart in mouth time. They've got 2 to jump. Here comes Song for Someone on the inside. He just tries. This is why the public love him. Navajo Pass not totally done with, but the big 2 in the market. Here they go. What's Goshen got left? A horse that stays all day long. I tell you what, Goshen is
He's going to hose up.
Song for Someone cannot cope whatsoever.
He's back.
This is what we want. Coming, is this the last flight? This is where it's all heart and mouth time. He's pinned it. Wow, he's going to have to get James Stevens on the line. Wow, unbelievable. I can see.
There's another one to go. He's going to win by even further.
Right, lads. 1, 2, 3. He's Oh, Cheltenham is alive with the sound of Goshen, boys.
Oh, look at this.
Absolutely hosed up, and he has beaten.
Special. Look at this.
Fair and square. What we thought was the leading British hope, along with Silver Streak, not quite epatante, of course, amongst the boys for the champion hurdle. This is hosed up. Unbelievable scenes. Let's try and get James Stevens on the phone in a little bit if we can. We've got Matt Butler standing along. Just when you thought it was going to be nice and straightforward on this show, the guys in the gallery are scratching their heads. I tell you what, Rob Lee, I think he backed Goshen, did he?
He can't put it up.
All right, Barry, come on, a quick story in the market then. What on earth happened there? They knew, didn't they, turning in?
Yeah, super impressive there. The story is he's 5 to 1 from 16 to 1 for the champion hurdle. I think that's a bit of an overreaction myself, because I don't think Song from Someone gave his true running. But Goshen, who had a Betfair SP of 4.60, he hit a high of 6.4 in running. Once he went past Navajo, he was 2 to 1 on, Dave. So there's no massive in-running story there, other than, I suppose, Song for Someone, who had been matched at a low pre-race of 2.06. And that's as low as he went, but that was pre-race. Let's just doff our cap to Gary Moore as well here, guys, because he's still pulling, going past the line, Graham. He's an all or nothing freak, this horse, isn't he?
Yeah, God, that was good, wasn't it? Oh, I like that.
Oh, here we go. For a man that doesn't like epatante in the champion hurdle.
I do like honeysuckle now, though. But
the suckle.
What a race it's going to be.
The suckle. Absolutely fantastic. Mattie Batchelor having the afternoon of his life.
That's an absolute machine.
They've never worked together. When you found out you were sitting next to Graeme Rodway, you never thought you could have this much fun, did you? It is good fun in here, guys. I tell you.
That's a machine, that, surely.
That is. Well, we know it's a machine because of what he was going to do in the Triumph Hurdle.
I kind of take Barry's point, because I was calling it. I don't think Song for Someone was right at his best, but he's beating him about 30 lengths.
Song for Someone had to work very... So going back to something you said, when a horse has to make that move to try and get up from the base, I think Barry is right there. If I was hand on heart rate in the race now, he's below his 2 runs this season, I think. Wincanton probably didn't look ideal for him. And the ground probably didn't look ideal for him. Something Tom Simmons said to me yesterday, we're not totally sure about the ground yet. He placed on his 2 runs on every, but never won on it. I think back on better ground, I'd go to Aintree now, maybe now with Song for Someone, I think. Maybe
I don't think you run at Champion now, do you?
Probably not. Navajo Pass isn't in it, but Goshen is 5-1, Barry All says on the sports book. This, I'll tell you what, no matter what Surname does coming up in 10 minutes' time, this could potentially be the front page of the Racing Post tomorrow.
Song for Someone, after this race, he's had a hard race today. So the obvious choice is probably say, right, no Champion hurdle, go to Aintree, where Goshen has had an easy race. He'd probably do as much as that as at home on the gallop at home. But he's jumped out today. We said it, and he's jumped out. He settled, and he looked like the Goshen that was going to win the Triumph. Listen, it's great. It's Jamie's. He's come back from injury. He's back, and like he's family at home. They've gone for a bad time at the minute, so it's going to be great for Jamie.
Absolutely. Brilliant. And here, and we know the public love this horse. And look, narratives going into Cheltenham, what it's all about. He's pinged them today, hasn't he? We're just watching the replay back here. Let us know what you thought about that performance. Have the 2 great mares got something to worry about here? Can he atone? Could you imagine this on the first day of the Cheltenham Festival? If coming to the last and he's clear, and you're Jamie Moore and you're thinking, please, Lord.
You will be thinking and all, because I don't care who you are, you're going to the last. Listen, this horse, everyone's knocked his jumping, and he's never been a bad jumper. Every time he won them races at Ascot, Jamie has been 40 lengths clear. Now,
and he's running down.
You turn in and you've got, right, I want to get from A to B. And even at Cheltenham, he's gone in, and as a jockey, you are taught. Jamie's gone into that last hurdle, and he was nothing but positive.
That's Goshen then. Wow, unbelievable. He's back and great for Team Moore. We love to see it. Absolutely. You know Gary, one of the old school.
He was happy enough to take a lead today, wasn't he, as well?
Yeah, he was.
He was happy enough to take a lead, and he settled well.
You can, I guess, if you're going to experiment with him today with the running style, you've got nothing to lose, have you? Why not do it? And I mean, we thought he might look a little bit vulnerable coming to the second last, which I called the last. And I'll tell you what, I need one of those Tony Ennis maps. And you'll be delighted that Ross Bridley's going to do a lot of the calling tomorrow. But he has, the way he's pinged that last, and he's still putting going across the line. Absolutely amazing. We'll try and get James Stevens, who's our man at Wincanton, to give us the immediate line. Nassalan was beaten at Haydock as well. They must have been absolutely on the floor. But we've got a big one coming up at Ascot. I'm delighted to say that Matt Butler is for us. I think he's there at Ascot. Matt, are you there on the line?
Good afternoon, Dave.
Ah, there he is, our lucky man at Ascot today. How's it been so far, Matt? And obviously we've got the big one coming up. Anything really stood out? That was some race, the Regal Encore race, wasn't it?
It was a fun race. It's very much been the Harry and Dan Skelton show so far.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really making use of... I mean, we've seen a lot of horses this season dominate from the front at Ascot, and really we've seen Harry Skelton use that to very good use again today.
Yeah, have we got any quotes coming from them? The winner of the first looked good, didn't he, I think? Will that go to Cheltenham?
He hasn't got any Cheltenham entries, actually. They're considering maybe Aintree, but they really see him as a long-term sort of 3-mile chasing type. So I think it's a baby step for them with him. But yeah, really, obviously, the Skeltons are both involved in this Grade 1, and they couldn't be riding with any more confidence at this stage.
Benny's king, of course, he's in this. There's a little bit of money for him. We're seeing him on the exchanges at the minute. What's the vibe then on track for Surname? Come on, who'd have thought this would have gone off odds against, Matt?
Well, it's a little bit weird. Obviously, Nichols actually isn't here. He's at Wincanton, so try and understand what the vibe is from the Nichols camp. It's particularly difficult to ask. But yeah, it's a hard one to read for that reason.
One thing we can hear is it's a bit windy down there, Matt, isn't it? I'm worried that mask of yours might blow off. We did a little test with you early on.
It was delightful earlier. I thought we'd spring come early, but it's the wind's certainly getting up now. I don't know how that's going to influence the race, but yes, it's particularly windy at Ascot.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, cheers, Matt. We'll let you go. Enjoy it. And give me some quotes after the race, will you, about whoever comes out on top?
Will do, Dave. Cheers.
Cheers, Matt. Superb. Great to have Matt Butler there.
I'm sure there's a stand you could have gone into.
Well, it's funny, when they built that stand, they always used to call it a wind tunnel, didn't they? It sounded like he was in a wind tunnel, didn't it?
Mattie Batchelor, superb. The lucky man for us at Ascot, giving us all the quotes there, and I guess it's all building up for the big one there. Interesting, as he kindly said to us at the start of the show, no Nichols there. That's interesting. Perhaps he wanted to check out Goshen himself. Let's get the market up then before we try and get to James Stevens at Wincanton. We'll see if we can get some quotes quotes from James about a Goshen. Unbelievable scenes. But now the big one, the 335, the Grade 1 Ascot Chase, been won by some absolute top-notchers over the years. Surname, the handicapper thought he was one last year. We thought he might be when he came back in the Charlie Hall. But Barry Orr, he's got a lot to prove, and the market is trying to find him out.
Yeah, he's 2.2. Haven't been matched. He was 8-11 on the sportsbook yesterday, so he's on the slide. That means there's money for everything else in the race. Dashel Drasher 5.6. Benny's King is 7. Riders on the Storm easy enough to back. And Master Tommy Tucker, his stable companions, currently 5.2, so a little over 4-1. Yeah, but the story of the race, Dave, has to be tactics and how it unfolds in terms of what gets off to the front. Benny's King, I'm sure Harry Skelton had served him so well today. He's going to want to get off in front. Dashel Drasher probably the same. Master Tommy Tucker likes to be up there, and we all know what Harry Cobden said about the favourite Surname. He's just going to attack every French like it's his last. So it's going to be a fascinating race. I like Master Tommy Tucker. I thought he was impressive last day, save for the mistake at the last. He's a horse going in the right direction. I'm going to back him without the favourite. I think if there is a pace burn-up, he doesn't have to lead, and he might be the main beneficiary of the three other horses taking each other on up front for the lead. So we're going to back him without the favourite. So he's currently, I think, around a 2-1 chance in that market. There's a whole host of markets on the Betfair Exchange, obviously. But Tommy Tucker, 2.94. So we're going to have 50 quid on him without the favourite at 2.94. Happy to leave it there. It will get matched before the race goes in play.
Well, there we are. Thank you very much. Barry Orr, one of a number of leading pundits in the game that probably look at Surname and lot to prove. You're another one.
I take issue with that. I think he does have to lead.
Mark, you think Tommy Tucker needs to lead?
I think that if he doesn't lead, he will sulk and he won't win. And I think that Dashel Drasher has to lead. And I think that Surname has to lead.
What about Benny's King? He likes to get on with it, doesn't he?
Yeah, he likes to get on with it. But I think that Master Tommy Tucker definitely has to lead. Now, what worries me here is that obviously Paul Nicholls also trains Surname. Harry Cobden's riding Surname. Are they going to? Is Paul Nicholls going to let them take each other on up front?
It's a very interesting ploy. I guess this is a classic case, isn't it, of having two owners going for a Grade 1. You've got to let them take a chance, because a lot of people looking at this thinking, why is he running Master Tommy Tucker? Master Tommy Tucker, of course, as we saw last time out the Silviana Conti Chase, when Imperial Aura seated after 2 fences, absolutely hosed up from the front.
My view on this, Dave, is that if Nicholls wants to win this race, he's got to sacrifice one or the other, Surname or Master Tommy Tucker. He has to say to Daryl Jacob or the other jockey,
or Harry Durham, who's actually on the track,
has to say to Jacob.
It's interesting to watch. I'm watching Surname going to the start here with them cheek pieces
he's absolutely flying down there.
He's taking a keen hold,
taking a bit of a tug with him.
So I think we can. Look, it'd be surprising to me.
Going to be short of pace.
Lead Surname, I tell you.
Nothing's going to lead Surname.
Not going down like that.
I'd be happy to take a chance on him now. He's got odds against 8-11, 4-5 yesterday when people conservatively priced him up. I wasn't so keen, but I don't know. I think this is one of those where, with the doubts about others not getting their ideal run style, that maybe Surname will be the one to prosper for that. And on ratings, he really ought to win. It doesn't happen, of course. There'll be no more topical winner after Matt Butler's call, would there, than Riders on the Storm. It's certainly whipping up a bit of a storm there, and he likes the track as well. And Twiston Davis, they've said in the paper at the camp this morning, we're just going to try and get him to finish his race. Could he be a beneficiary? He certainly looked impressive at the course last year. You don't like Master Tommy Tucker at all, Batch, do you?
Listen, I know he's probably got a wonderful engine. And
get it out of the way. Come on, get the niceness out of the way.
He's got an engine. To me, he's just a little bit erratic.
That is a much more polite version of what you said when you walked in the office today.
We ain't got a bleep machine, have we? So he's gone round Kempton like that and went to the last and done that. Harry Cobden come back in and said, listen, he's going to blame himself.
He does it schooling this horse as well, doesn't he?
He does it schooling. I saw a picture, I think it was on Instagram in the week, with Daryl Jacob schooling it, and he looked like he was reaching for one at home. He just puts me off a little bit. If the real Surname turns up, then he's going to be hard to beat. This is why I like Dashel Drasher. I don't think he really has to lead, personally. I think Matt Griffiths, if these two take themselves on, I think he'd just get a lead. And I like Dashel Drasher. I think he could run a big race. If Surname's off the game, and he looked a bit free there going to the start, so it's going to be interesting to watch, I think.
Just looking at the way they're lining up there, it looks like Dashel Drasher's lining up on the inside of Surname with Master Tommy Tucker in behind. So have they decided they're not going to take Surname on with Master Tommy Tucker?
Nothing to lead Surname to the first tier, Graeme. I'll tell you that. And they're happy enough. And why I know that is because the way they're lining up there, you've got Harry Cobden on the outside of Dashel Drasher lining up. And Dashel Drasher jumped out to his left quite erratically when he won here last day. So there's no way Harry Cobden's lining up there that he's going to take a lead off Dashel Drasher down to the first, and he's going to be on his left-hand side.
Do you think he's going to keep him wide, Barry? Surname.
That is interesting.
No, I think he's going to be on the inside of Dashel Drasher.
Right,
There's no way Dashel Drasher is going to lead Harry Cobden to the first here. I wouldn't think so.
I like what I see all of a sudden here for Surname, and I think a lot of you out there will be the same as well. Master Tommy Tucker then, not quite all there according to Mattie Batchelor, but very talented on his day.
He's a good jumper though, generally.
Well, he had the race sewn up at Kempton and then he walked through that.
I think he's just not very clever. Like they say some horses are clever; they can put themselves right.
Yeah, he's thick.
Yeah, when he goes long, he's really good. But
he's a thick horse. He's a thick horse. How many goes did Harry Cobden to get it right, and he's still done that for him.
You'd be sitting next to each other in the office then, Batch, would you be? Let's give him a little bit of credit. Obviously, at home, they do believe that the 10-year-old, the lightly raised 10-year-old, has got Grade 1 abilities. We see on Paul Keeley very keen on him today as well. Okay, they're off and running. Here are the tactics
Go on,
then.
Matt, put
Riders
it
on the storm, as
Matt,
we can see, is who's going to get into the last then? There's only one tactic they've got on their mind for Surname.
Whoa.
And he's I'll tell you what, he's got Dashel Drasher at it on the first. Master Tommy Tucker.
He'll jump out to the left every time that Dashel Drasher around here now.
So listen, this is one thing that Harry Cobden wants to do. I know I'm on the best horse. He's a lovely free-going horse. We've seen it on the chase track before, time and time again at Ascot. As Matt Butler told us, he's been going to the track. They do not come back. Surname leads then over the first couple of fences. Dashel Drasher carrying his low head carriage. What do you feel when you get... How many horses did you ride when you get a low carriage? You know, when they... What does that mean a horse is doing? Loads of theories about that.
Just some horses like to carry their head that low. And
don't see it often these days, do you?
No, a few times, but I find it, if they do that, instead of interfering with them, just let them see their fences. If they're happy doing it, just let them do it.
Okay, Graeme, Rodway, let's bring you in then. We've had 4 fences pretty much. Surname, he's got the freebie. Oh, Barry's a little bit ahead of us, as you can see. We're coming up to the fence on the far side. We reach for that one. Absolutely not quite as dramatic as Barry's ooh might have led me to believe there. Benny's King, he's saying no thank you today. Harry Skelton, it's been all about Team Skelton, according to Matt Butler at the track so far. Could they possibly take this out with Benny's King? Master Tommy Tucker, G, how's he going, taking a lead today?
Yeah, I mean, if I'd backed him, I'd be absolutely massively disappointed because I don't think he can win.
Aghast.
I don't think he can win under these tactics. To my eye, they've sacrificed Master Tommy Tucker to try and give Surname a better chance.
You know Dale Jacob well. What's the body language of Dale Jacob aboard Master Tommy Tucker? Master Tommy Tucker telling you. You absolutely love this game, Matt, don't you? He loves it when I make a mistake. Master Tommy Tucker, Daryl Jacob.
Master Tommy Tucker.
It's not easy.
It's not easy. It's a bit of a tongue twister. Now, Daryl looks happy. I don't want to book him, but he is going okay and jumping well.
Dashel Drasher's been broken already, is he?
He doesn't look that happy to me, Dashel Drasher. I think he probably is resenting it a little bit. And Matt, if you look at Matt Griffiths, his regular rider, he's just changed his hands a little bit, and he's not over the moon. Okay, Barry, they're embarking onto this final lap. What's the market saying about Surname?
6-4 on now, Surname. Had a Betfair SP at 2.37, 11-8 against, but as soon as he went off in front and he got an uncontested lead, he went into odds on. It's 5.5 Master Tommy Tucker, 13 Dashel Drasher and Benny's King, and 25 riders on the storm. Well,
so far, let's hope you listen to the advice at the top of the show from Graeme Rodway, who said, do not bet this, but you can get in Betfair and you can get on the exchange and do it in running. So, on the far side, we see Dashel Drasher now, as Harry Cobden just tried to take a breather. Now he's going up right against him. This isn't going to be good for Surname, is it, guys? Oh, and he's jumping really, really well there. Benny's King moving up very nicely indeed. Is Surname just having to think about this, do you think?
I think he's done the right thing here, Matt. He's serving it up to Surname and sort of eyeballing him, and he's...
I'm surprised that he was able to. Do you think it was Harry Cobden just trying to ease off the gas a bit, knowing he's got half a circuit to go?
I don't know.
His Surname dropped the bridle a little bit.
Yeah,
this is where the cheek pieces might be coming into play. All right, all to play for then as we're on the far side now in the Grade 1 Ascot Chase here on Racing Post Live. Loving the afternoon. Surname, he says, come on, I'm one of the best chasers in the country. You're not going to get it off me that easy. As Dashel Drasher eyeballed him, but now he's been relegated. It looks like he's not over the moon with it, Dashel Drasher. Master Tommy Tucker now. Daryl Jacob, he's sensing a little bit of blood, isn't he? He's moving up on the far side. Benny's King now starting to feel the pinch. One that hasn't been been asked any sort of question whatsoever. Hoping for a pace clap. His riders on the storm.
He's in trouble, is he, Surname?
Last year's winner.
I don't know. I wouldn't be over the moon with Surname. We're going to find out everything we need to know about Surname so far. Looks like he's going backwards now, guys. Barry, let's come to you. He's gone from last to first to last.
Yeah, Surname out to 1,000 now. It's all over for him. Dashel Drasher.
Yeah, he's pulling it up.
He's pulling it up.
One along with Master Tommy Tucker, but Dashel Drasher, your favourite at 5-4 on.
Wow, sad to see, really. Surname just gave up the ghost a bit too easy there, didn't he? And it's the last two from the last two meetings that fought out that handicap. Now, Mattie Batchelor, Dashel Drasher was a confident pick for him, and he comes up. He's King City. Now, this is where we're going to find out what Master Tommy Tucker's all about. He
couldn't win, could he? He never got a lead.
I tell you what, absolutely, that was a slugger, wasn't it? Unbelievable. They're up 3 out. Body language. What's the market saying, Barry?
The market's saying Master Tommy Tucker is 3s on and 3-1 against now Dashel Drasher. No, it's...
What do you think he's going to find? What's he going to find, Barry?
Dashel Drasher keeps going.
Tommy Tucker
What's
ain't
he going to find this Tommy Tucker?
One yet.
He hasn't. There's an error coming, apparently, according to
Come on, Dashel.
Dashel Drasher just stays.
Go
on, some performance, this. If he can pull this out of fire. 2 out.
Go on, Griff.
Tommy Tucker.
Go on, Dashel.
Oh, they're walking.
Go on, the Griffiths.
Go
on, the Griffiths.
His kitchen's sinking.
Come on, the Griffiths.
Tommy Tucker not totally done with. I tell you what, slow motion stuff here. What's happened here then?
Chucking Griffiths.
Unbelievable. Dashel Drasher. He picks up again. Will Tommy Tucker go by? He doesn't look it. Barry, Dashel Drasher. Old-fashioned trick. He switches left. He switches right.
Go on, the Griff.
As you can hear, pandemonium here in the studio. Mattie Batchelor.
Give me the volley up, Griff. Yes.
Unbelievable scenes. Again, wow. Dashel Drasher steps up to the plate. Matt Griffiths, talk about perseverance. Kept going. It was a carbon copy of what we saw from Remastered earlier in the day and Captain Chaos. These horses that look beat, that go from the front at Ascot, they find out extra. Matt Griffiths, great to see. A horse that last year looked like he completely lost his way. Jeremy Scott, another big day in the sun. The fallout will, of course, be what happened to Surname. Was it? Did he not like it up him? Was it that simple? We will find out. You'll get your quotes in your members section. Master Tommy Tucker, G. It's hard to say that he needs to lead to win because that's the most exemplary round he's put in.
Yeah, exemplary.
He jumped well, but I mean, I think if he leads there, I think he wins. Personally,
you're still sticking to that.
I'll stick to that. I think that if Tommy Tucker goes out in front there, takes Surname on for the lead, Surname would have quickly backed out of it. Tommy Tucker would have won, in my opinion.
What do you think at home? Let us know.
He has to dominate. He has to dominate that horse, Tommy Tucker. When he comes, like you saw it there, when he comes, he doesn't want to go past. He has to lead.
Just watching it, we're watching go past the line again. He's one of these old-fashioned horses, Dashel Drasher, isn't he? Do you know what I mean? He's picked up again a little bit towards the end.
Listen, this is a great ride. This is a great ride from Griffiths. He's gone down the back and he's served it up to Surname.
Yeah.
And he thought, right, he's let him have the lead. He thought, right, this is it. You're not having your own way now. Down the back, he said, right, let's have this. Eyeball it. And Surname's, he's gone. Stopped it.
Well, yeah.
Master Tommy Tucker, listen, with the way he jumps and he's a bit erratic, I think they have to ride him like that because if he'd have tried to go with them two, I think he may have made mistakes. I think he's jumped exemplary today, and I think that's as good as he can get there.
But it was a mismatch, wasn't it, on the running? It was like the absolute hardy, rock-hard Tuffles against like the absolute sort of...
I don't fancy it.
Was just once he didn't get past him on the bridle,
I don't know. I think you've been a little bit hard on him.
What
there,
you think? You think that he's a fighter, that was Tommy Tucker?
I'm not saying he's a fighter.
No.
He could have given it. He could have given it up coming to the last.
He's a lover, not a fighter.
He's a lover, not a fighter. I think that Dashel Drasher has been. You're taking a bit away from Dashel Drasher.
Yeah, he's a true fighter.
I think he's just. It would have been a very, very tough horse to pass Dashel Drasher on the run up there.
Oh no, leave it. He's absolutely walked up the running, Dashel Drasher. I mean, if there's
I think he's picked up again towards the line.
No, if there's a good horse in that race, they go past him easy.
I'm not sure about that.
When he won there the last day, they interviewed Matt Griffiths, and he said he's a bit like that. When he gets in front, he has a look around, And Matt Griffiths knows him inside and out. If another horse would have got to him, you're right, he would have gone again.
Brilliant.
He'll never win another Grade 1, that horse. He'll never win another Grade 1.
Well, I assume he's going to go for the Ryanair now, Barry, or he's winner over hurdles at the track. He actually ran in the Champion Bumper, although he never figured behind Relegate. What price is he now for the Ryanair?
Yeah, he's 16 from 25 for the Ryanair Dashel Drescher. Yeah, he's a game horse, isn't he? He's very likeable. Yeah. Bit of fallout from it. The runner-up was 4s on for 714 quid. Surname hit a low of 2s on and running 1.51. I just might say on times for Goshen, he was 5 seconds and 10 seconds faster than the 2 novices on the card, albeit 2 hours later on deteriorating ground as well. But they were pretty ordinary races, those novice races, so read from that what you will.
Let's get back to Goshen in a minute, guys. I just want to talk about the fallout from Surname here. Probably now, pull up stumps, go out fresh again. Next season, would you take him freshen up, going to Punchestown? They don't like him. Left-handed, maybe he'll go to Aintree. You know, he's shown himself in Charlie.
They don't mind him left-handed. Nichols said he thinks he's fine, really. One left-handed.
Well, exactly, Charlie.
He's just a funny horse, isn't he?
I think there's got to be something wrong. You've got to be finding something now. You're just going to be scratching your head. You don't want to be going anywhere until you find something.
Personally, it looked a little bit mental to me there when it looked like it might be. I don't think he enjoyed it when the other horse came to him, and he went back a bit too quick for me.
He stopped too quick.
He gave up. We
will find out the fallout from that. As you've heard, we've got Matt Butler on track at Ascot. In your members section, you will be seeing those quotes. You can't get them anywhere else. Okay, before we talk about what we think is the absolute highlight of the day, from a personal perspective, I thought Third Wind in the Rendel Show was really good to see. I like to see remastered as well. We've seen some proper Cheltenham calibre performances, I think, although Third Wind probably go to Aintree. Lord of Manil, some fallout from that. Richard Hobson says it's ground dependent, but if it's good to soft, that would be good enough for him to go. He's got him back where he wants him. He's delighted, basically. He's got this horse back because he's still, in this COVID time, he wants the owners to come back. So a great highlight for him. And so that would be my personal highlight. It's great to see Lord of Manil giving it back to back. Obviously, we've got the big highlight at Wincanton, which we'll go to. Mattie Batch.
Yeah, for me, I've worked for the Moors, I've known the Moors years. So for Goshen to go and do that today is brilliant. And for Matt Griffiths, one of the unsung heroes, really, not well known, don't get as many riders he deserves. There's plenty of lads that don't. But for him to win a Grade 1, absolutely unbelievable, brilliant.
Yeah, and Jeremy Scott as well. He's got a horse called Sizable Sam running tomorrow in the handicap hurdle at Newbury. That'll be well fancied now, I'd imagine. G-Rod, highlight of the day. Thibbo, wow, what a shout. Is that how we say Thibbo?
What a shout, yeah. Thibbo, yeah, that ran a stormer, didn't it? It was kind of the low light of the day in a way, wasn't it? But yeah, it ran well. It was a tale of two losers.
I'm not trying to rub it in. It was a great shout, man. Come on.
Yeah, it was just agonising, wasn't it? A tale of two losers, wasn't it? Because Regal Encore was obviously fantastic run by him as well. And just to echo what Matt said about, what Batch said about Matt Griffiths, because I did give him a bit of stick for, saying that he wouldn't go and take Surname on and he would let Surname lead him. He wasn't worried about that. And he was right. He did the right thing. He called it right. He took Surname on at the right time. And he got the reward for it. So well done to Matt Griffiths.
Well done to Matt Griffiths. Barry, a highlight. Obviously not Goshen. We're going to just have a word about him in a second. But personal highlight for yourself.
Yeah, I liked Remastered. I thought he's a live contender at a nice price for maybe the National Hunt Chase at the festival if they choose to go down that route with him. Obviously, he's an 8-year-old now, but I thought he was game. Looks a nice horse, and he's a horse that I'd definitely be considering for that National Hunt Chase. Yeah,
definitely. I can absolutely see that as well. So we'll get the quotes from Team Pipe. I'm delighted to say that joining us on the line, James Stephen, our intrepid reporter, is down at Wincanton. Soggy old day down there, James, just lit up by Goshen. He's back.
Yes, he is, and you're very right. It's really solid, but we're all getting our breath. We're just getting our breath back from that because it was absolutely fantastic. I mean, we've just spoken to Gary Moore on the phone there, and he's very, very happy, as you can imagine. He sort of talks about how much satisfaction he gets from the win. And believe it or not, he's been riding out this horse himself. So talk about a hands-on trainer. No, he's thrilled, and he confirms it's all systems go for Cheltenham.
Brilliant. If you want something done, then, says Gary Moore, do it yourself. Absolutely fantastic. Into 5-1 on the sportsbook, James. Unbelievable scenes. What was Jamie Moore like after the race?
Yeah, he was really happy too. I think he was just sort of taking it all in a little bit. It's a bit quiet, it's a bit of reserved. I think it's been a long journey back to today. Remember, it's not just the fact he unseated at the last. It was those disappointing flat runs, the underwhelming run at Cheltenham. It's taken a lot, and I think it's only going to take a few days for them to really realise that they've got a live champion hurdle contender. But all connections thrilled here, and as we say, onto the champion hurdle, and it's nice to see a British horse win in easy style for a change after the Irish dominance.
Absolutely. We're hearing the time was really good, James, as well. Anything from Tom Simmons and Song from Someone? Was there any fallout from the runner-up?
Yeah, we spoke to Tom after the race. He was happy. He was sort of very complimentary of Goshen and the connections of them for their performance, and he was actually quite happy to see Goshen back to his best, which was nice to hear. Likely to probably go to Aintree, but a Cheltenham bid not ruled out at this stage.
OK, thank you very much for joining us, James. Safe journey back, man.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Cheers, James. Absolutely brilliant to have James down there. And as you can imagine, ecstatic. Gary Moore riding out the horse himself. Again, you only get that here on Racing Post Live. You're laughing. You think that's the magic touch that we've been waiting for?
I could just imagine him running around in his wellies, in a luminous jacket.
I'll tell you what, he'll be livid with us for breaking that, because all the owners will be on saying, I want Gary to ride my horse, please.
Yeah, they'll all get the sack now. He'll be riding all the work, Gary. Jamie used to ride that all the time.
Marvellous to see. And I tell you what, as if Cheltenham, the champion hurdle, needed lighting up a bit. We've spoken throughout these series of these shows and saying, I'm a bit despondent with the champion hurdle. It was epatants at Christmas, wasn't it? Where's the opposition? Now it's hotting up, G.
Yeah, I mean, this is a proper horse, and it's so exciting. It's great for Gary, and he's a real straight shooter, isn't he, Gary? One of the good men in the racing game. So I just so was impressed with him, and he looked right back to when he won that triumph. I always remember last season when he won at Ascot, I think it was. Jamie Moore said, you might be surprised just quite how good this horse is, and doesn't he look good? I mean, he looks like. Oh, he got me so excited. The only problem is, of course, he's got to give bloody £7 to Honeysuckle.
And you missed trading on the champion hurdle, no doubt, because I could tell you were in place for that. So we've got, listen, that will be one of the big stories.
5 to 1's a good price, in my opinion. I mean, there's only 2 horses now that can win the champion hurdle, Goshen and Honeysuckle. And if it were racing off level weights, Goshen would be an easy winner of it. But because he's got to give £7 to Honeysuckle, it'd be a fascinating race.
I don't know. This will be interesting. So let's hope there's a little bit of juice in the ground and everyone's a level playing field for everyone. Thanks then, Barry. I'll see you again tomorrow.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, check it out tomorrow. Looking forward to it. Great days racing in Newbury.
Yeah, very valuable Betfair Day champ coming out. We've got the Betfair Hurdle as well. Well, we thought Surname might be the headlines in tomorrow's Racing Post. Oh no, it's Oh My Goshen. We'll see you around about 1 p.m. tomorrow here on Racing Post Live.